Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to another UFO news update. Been having a lot of these recently, haven't we? But anyway, Wingrace is here saying, well, you finally changed your clocks. Yes, we're all back in sync once more with the... I don't know what other countries are doing, but Britain and America are in sync again, finally, because our clocks went forward last night. Thank goodness. Apart from on my telly, the YouTube app on my TV is still an hour behind for some reason, even though the time on my TV is right. I don't get it. It still says, upcoming live streams are an hour behind, but it's fine on my computer. It's weird. Justin's here. Hello, everyone. Back from space was saving the Earth Friday. Well, you did a really good job, Justin, because we're all still here. You were missed. Anyway, I did notice you weren't there this time. Last time you said you weren't there, I was thinking, hang on, I'm sure I saw him popping. But I didn't. I just imagine that you're there all the time. Anyway, so, yes, what was I saying? UFO news. Quite a bit to get through, and I'm waffling. But before we get going, don't forget to like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. We're live on YouTube. I'll just double check. Yes, we are. We're live on YouTube. And we're live on Rumble as well. Yeah, we are. but we're not on Twitch. Project Hail Mary, very top secret. I thought about you went to see on Friday. I've still not seen that film. Hopefully I'll get to see it soon, but not at the cinema. Anyway. Right. Oh, I'm burping already. What else? Oh, explore the description for links for stuff like merch, which I'm not wearing. I'm wearing my UFO t-shirt that says Toy G's Intergalactic Tour. Somewhere, there it is. Which I got off Amazon. It's not one of my merch, but never mind. And my books, plug my books, particularly my Mercury Rapids, because it's about UFOs, is Mercury Rapids and stuff. It's fun. It's a fun book, and so is Silent Predator, which is a horror novella about genetically engineered big cats. But Mercury Rapids is the one to get. It's a big, thick tome, look. You can get it in... I originally wrote it as a trilogy and published it through iUniverse in three different books. There were Mercury Rapids, The Thoth Imperative, and Mercury Rapids, The Mountains of Tomorrow. 3 separate books through iUniverse. And then I published them, I stuck them all together in one volume and published it through Amazon. And then told iUniverse to stop publishing it. And they didn't, they're still selling it. And I got, as I said recently, I got another royalty check from iUniverse. Never had one off Amazon. But anyway. Justin says, I recommend it. It gets Happy Berry thumbs up. A Happy Berry, eh? Doesn't have the same ring to it, does it? Hopefully I'll get to see it soon. Project Hail Mary. For some reason, I've got it in my head that I'm not going to like it, and I'm going to be, contrary. But anyway, we will see. What else? My links for my books and my thing, and my books, and what else? Websites and other channels and all that stuff. Become a member and get early access videos and exclusive videos and stuff like that. And I've got to record that video I'm supposed to be doing, but I keep forgetting. I'm hopeless. Right, we'll get on with this news, shall we? We'll get on with this news. I've got quite a few news articles, links for which are in the description. Justin says, I will get emotional. Oh, crikey. Oh, dear. Is it as bad as Cocoon? Anyway, right, so we'll get on with it, shall we? We'll just pile through these articles. I forgot what I'm doing. There we go. There it is. Right, first up, can you read that? That looks a bit small, doesn't it? Is it a bit small? Let's zoom in a bit. It's a bit better in it. Right, off we go. This first one's from news.am. I have no idea where this is from. But UFOs and abductions, why New York became aliens' favourite city. I think we've got a few of these. I think we had some last week as well, or last time. I think we've got 1 or 2 of these again. There's been a study, hasn't there, about, particularly North America, about cities and how many UFO sightings there's been. I think this is another one of those. But anywho, right, the chances of a close encounter with extraterrestrials in New York are reportedly higher than ever. By the way, if you hear me go, ooh, ow, I've hurt my thumb somehow. I was coming downstairs and I put my hand on the whatever you call it. It's not a banister, is it? The handrail, whatever. And did something to my thumb, and it really, really hurts. But anyway, I don't know what. According to the annual ranking by Casino.ca, released to mark National Alien Abduction Day on March 20th. Oh, I missed that one. New York ranks 3rd in the US for UFO sightings. Curiously, on Friday Night Appointment with Fear, we did The Forgotten, didn't we? Which was set in New York and were about alien abductions. So there we go. Wingrave says, you tried to pull out a plum. Yes, in my car. We're in the corner. Where were we? Since 1974, the state has reported 8,314 UFO sightings, roughly 1 for every 1,003 residents. That places it just behind Washington, 1 per 977 residents, and Delaware, the top-ranked state, 1 per 928 residents. So everybody in Delaware is getting abducted by aliens. Justin says, how the world is today, it was a welcome change. Oh, I'm talking about Project Hail Mary. It was almost a buddy movie. Oh, how I hope we are with aliens if we meet up. Cool. I will try and watch it. I will try and watch it through my legally obtained version. Most sightings are likely due to the sheer number of people here, many of whom don't know what they're looking at. Looking at the phones, probably, said Dennis Anderson, a former member for the Centre for UFO Studies. Recent reports in New York included a white tic-tac-shaped object in the sky and the silver orb hovering above the city. More recently, 3 mysterious glowing dots appeared over Corona, Queens. Coincidentally, the location of the climactic scene in the 1997 sci-fi movie Men in Black. Oh, pardon me. Sparking fresh conspiracy theories. Famous past cases include the Arthur Kill lights in 2001, when 5 to 16 bright orange ovals flew over in a V formation over the water between New Jersey and Staten Island. Never heard of that one. It's that famous, I've never heard of it. Oh, it doesn't ring a bell. One of the most infamous incidents remains the alleged abduction of Linda Napolitano, probably mispronouncing that, from her lower Manhattan apartment in 1989, chronicled in a 2024 Netflix documentary. Oh, I've not seen that. I'll have to look that one up. But yes, I know that one, because at the same time, it's alleged that Javier Perez de Cuellar, at the time, the Secretary General of the United Nations, were at the Manhattan Bridge or the Brooklyn Bridge. They were on one of the bridges near her apartment, and apparently they saw her being lifted out, like a tractor beam sort of out of her apartment into a hovering UFO, allegedly. Still, Anderson urges caution. Probably 99% of what people report as UFOs in New York are just things they don't recognise. The city is full of light pollution and people don't look up enough, which is true. We're looking at his phones all the time. For the study... Oh, sorry. A bit of my tea just rematerialised in my mouth. It must have been stuck in my teeth. I've had Chinese stir-fry. For the study, Casino.ca analysed 150,000 UFO reports collected by the National UFO Reporting Centre between 1974 and 2026, and cross-referenced them with social media data. The US has seen 187,870 total sightings, giving the odds of an intergalactic abduction roughly 1 in 1,770 across the whole of the United States. By the way, I saw a thing on Instagram today, and I forgot to save it. I forgot to... we're on my phone as well, and I forgot to... I was going to send it to myself for tonight, and I forgot, because I'm an idiot, showing where all UFO sightings in the world being reported from, showing like the Earth and all lit up. And it's basically America and Britain. That's basically where most of the UFO sightings happen, according to that. But anyway, crikey, thank you, Justin. Justin, that $2, is it a super sticker or just a super? I think it's just a super chat. It doesn't say anything. Just drops $2 on the counter. Thank you very much. That's hugely appreciated. Right, where were we in this article? Right, as the site notes, you never know when an extraterrestrial in a big green spaceship, why green, might make a surprise visit. Top 10 states for potential alien abductions. I won't read the thing. So we've got Delaware, Washington, New York, as we just said, Oregon, which is high up, which is, compared to the like New York and that, and Washington, Washington State, innit? Not Washington, D.C. So Washington and Oregon will be kind of sparsely populated, but compared to a lot of American states, I would imagine, up there in the Pacific Northwest. Florida, Texas, Montana, Vermont, New Mexico, which is where Roswell is, and Georgia. Cool. The state least likely to see alien abductions is Louisiana, with 1,325 sightings, or 1 per 3,464 residents. No mention of Kentucky, which I think they did in Close Encounters, where they said the only state in America where no UFOs have been sighted is Kentucky. I don't know if that were true, because they said it still had prohibition or something. I don't know. But that was back in 1977. So there we go. New York is number 3 on America's list of UFO sightings. But if you want to see one, head to Delaware. By the way, that's New York State, not New York City, by the way, because it's about states, isn't it? Right, so there we go. Very interesting, or not, as the case may be. Right, we'll fire on to the next one if I just click on that. Right, next up, we're back to the missing general. If I share it, there it is. It's from the New York Post. A rocket scientist with ties to missing Air Force general associated with UFOs disappeared under eerily similar circumstances. I think we've had some others as well, but I don't think I found a news article about them. Disappearances connected with General William Neil, don't know where the Neil comes from, McCasland. But anyway, a US rocket scientist vanished without a trace on a Los Angeles hike. Los Angeles? He's in Albuquerque, isn't he? Or is he? Oh, no, it's a rocket scientist, not the general. The general's in Albuquerque, isn't he? A US rocket scientist vanished without a trace on a Los Angeles hike 8 months before retired Air Force General William McCasland disappeared under eerily similar circumstances, but in Albuquerque. I wonder if this hike is anywhere near where Julian Sands disappeared and was found, passed away. I don't know. And the two had a close professional connection. Could be. Monica Razor went missing, I'm probably mispronouncing that, apologies, went missing on the morning of June 22nd, 2025 in the Angeles National Forest while hiking with 2 experienced companions who were exploring the popular Mount Waterman Trail, according to a Facebook page dedicated to finding her. And here's the special bulletin. There we go. Volunteers and authorities searched the area for months using helicopters, radar, droves of hikers and dogs, but found no trace of Razor 60, who is still considered a missing person, according to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Razor used the last name, is it Jacinto or Jacinto? I don't know how to pronounce it. In her wildly successful professional career as a material scientist at Aerojet Rocketdyne, which sounds like a made-up company for a film, doesn't it? Like something from Terminator. Anyway, which was funded for years. I shouldn't laugh. Which was funded for years by NASA and the Air Force Research Laboratory, according to Space News. And I presume that's her. Yes, it is. Looking in a box. Here we go. Razor, who used the last name Jacinto professionally, is the creator of a super alloy. That deserves a beard rub, which was funded by an Air Force lab that was headed up by missing retired Air Force General William McCasland, who's connected with UFOs and stuff. Super alloy. See, it's all back engineering and stuff's coming out. I bet it is. Her patented nickel-based superalloy, Mondalloy, brought her into the orbit of McCasland, who oversaw the Air Force group that funded research in the early 2000s into advanced materials needed for reusable space vehicles and weapons. It sounds very like Philip Corso, doesn't it? Colonel Philip J. Corso, who he claims back in the day, I can't remember when it was, in the 50s, 60s, something like that, I can't remember, that he was in charge of the group back engineering recovered alien materials, extraterrestrial materials, and he was in charge of basically like foisting it off onto various companies for them to do the research, which is where we got stuff like lasers basically, and optical cables and stuff like that, but not Velcro. That were from the Vulcans. McCasland was Material Wing Director at the Air Force Research Laboratory, Space Vehicle Directorate, and Commander of Phillips Research Site in Kirtland Air Force Base from 2001 to 2004, which would directly pertain to Razor's research, according to his official Air Force biography. Justin says, it is very easy to get lost on a hike or woods camping. Happened to me once. Not lost long, but it was strange. I bet it is. I'd panic. I'd panic. But I live in Britain, so can't get lost in Britain, really. Saying that, though, there are some wild areas up on the moors and stuff, where if you lose your bearings, it could be, a fair old hike, but I suppose you walk in any direction in Britain and you'll find something, to do with civilization within a couple of hours, won't you? I imagine. It's not a big country. Because Smondalloy is a family of alloys, I worked... this is a quote. I worked with the Air Force to scale up production, look at different processing methods and get the material ready for insertion into a rocket engine, she told Space News in a 2017 profile. And there she is again. Aerojet Rocketdyne achieved a major milestone in rocket engine technologies in 2016 based on Razor's rubbish at pronouncing stuff. According to an Air Force press release. Justin says, you do start to panic a bit. Yes, I would. If I didn't know where I was. An objective of this program is to help eliminate the United States' reliance on foreign rocket propulsion technology. Major General Tom Masiello, the AFRL commander, it's probably said that, hasn't it, somewhere, but I forgot what it is. Air Force Research Laboratory. Commander said at the time, this is key to ensuring our national security, and the people of the Rocket Propulsion Division are making impressive strides in achieving our goal. Aerojet Rocketdyne was sold in 2023 for a whopping $4.7 billion to military defence contractor L3 Technologies. And there's William McCasland. Is it me? What's them stars on that flag? Are they moving? They look like they're moving, don't they, when I scroll it? It looks like they're rotating around the flag. Wow! So I'm looking at my little screen in StreamYard to make sure it's still doing it, and it's doing it on the screen there. Look, they're moving! It's an Ace optical illusion. Wow! Anyway, sorry. I hope they find them both, by the way. McCasland, who is associated with the UFO community, follow the link for that, went missing on February 27th from his Albuquerque, New Mexico home, according to the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office. He was last seen by his wife, Susan, at 11:10 a.m. local time. She reported that her husband left with only a backpack and a .38 caliber revolver without his wallet and his cell phone. And there was a handyman at the house at the time, a repairman, who, according to... Ross Coulthard has been exonerated, the handyman. People saying, what's this about a handyman? It sounds very suspicious and, very conspiratorial. But apparently he's been exonerated, so it probably did have something to do with it. I'll say it here and now. Justin says, I believe sometimes... Oh, for Pete's sake, bloody cat's saying things. Who's talking? Are you talking, or is it Tabby? No, neither of you. So the cats are making noises. Justin says, I believe sometimes when people go missing, it's a time shift. Some go back in time or forward. The woods have a strange vibe. You can feel an energy. It's a thought, innit? It's a thought. You never know. That's how weird stuff happens in the woods. Particularly, I imagine, in the vast forests and stuff that you have over there in America, because it's a much bigger country than this. In this country we tend not to have huge forests that span thousands of square miles. But I wouldn't want to get lost in one. Where were we? The 68-year-old was an avid hiker like Razor. He is also not being found despite a wide search. I think it's 4 weeks now, since he went missing. despite a wide search by authorities that included thermal drones. Yes, because the thermal drones didn't work because it had been really hot. And why did they try it at night? I don't know, but the ground was as hot as a human body, so the thermal drones didn't work. So why did they try them at night when the ground had cooled down? It's all very suspect, if you ask me. He went missing just 6 days after President Trump announced that he would be releasing the files pertaining to UFOs and aliens. McCaslin was a gatekeeper and a participant in the UFO community, a source previously told The Post. I think that's it, isn't it? So there we go. So it's still missing, and now I said Miss Reeser is missing as well. And I'm sure I've seen there's some other people connected with UFOs have gone missing. Scientists connected with UFOs or UFO research have gone missing as well. In the last, months, up to a year, I think, somewhere, but I haven't found any news items about it. It's just been mentioned. I've seen it mentioned, like in YouTube videos and comment sections and stuff like that, and I've not seen any news items about it. Justin says, maybe it's my Native American blood. I can feel the energy or spirits. Possibly so. Because I imagine that the forests will have an amazing energy, won't they? And, woodland spirits will abound, I imagine. Natural forces and all that stuff. And maybe those forces can be harnessed to do stuff. Who knows? But anyway, so there we go. So that's, I said that rocket scientist went missing. It's all very weird. Apparently she was on the hike and there was a chap walking in front of her, and he turned round and said, "You all right?" And she went, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he carried on walking, and like a couple of minutes later, he turned round, or maybe it was a few seconds. I think it was something like 15 seconds or something like that. He walked a bit for a few yards, turned round, and she was gone, and they'd no idea where she was. She just vanished. And it's very strange, seeing as that she disappeared. It's not as if, like the general, is it a general? It is a general, isn't it? Yeah, the general just walked out from his house, and he'd gone for like over an hour, before anybody realised he was missing. She was like, it was seconds, and she just disappeared off the face of the earth, which is most peculiar to vanish, within a few seconds of somebody seeing you. But anyway, I mean, she can't have just fallen down a hill or rolled down or whatever, because they'd notice, wouldn't they? They'd see you. They'd see it. Oh, she's fallen down there. Anyway, it's very strange. Right, so moving on to Donald Trump again and his UFO release. The next couple of stories are about that. So here we go. This is from USA Today News. Never mind the big blank advertisement thing that take up half the page. Alien.gov mystery grows after White House says stay tuned. The domains come less than a month after President Donald Trump said he would order federal agencies to release government files related to extraterrestrial life, says Greta Cross. And there he is, talking about Obama. He shouldn't have said that. Anyway, whatever. Right, go away, video. Two newly registered federal website domains, alien.gov and aliens.gov, are drawing attention after records showed they were created this week by a US government agency, fueling speculation as questions around UFOs and extraterrestrial life return to the spotlight. It'll probably be about plumbing illegal aliens. Probably, but it'll turn out to be. Anyway, the timing is notable. The domain surfaced weeks after President Donald Trump said he would push for the release of government files related to UFOs and extraterrestrial life, reigniting debate over what information the federal government has kept classified. They won't release anything. Nothing juicy. As of March 19th, neither website is live. Visiting the URL simply results in an error message. Let's have a go. I'll do it over here. What is it? Aliens.gov. Alien.gov. We'll see what happens. Excuse me. Right. No, the site can't be reached for alien.gov. So I imagine it'll be the same for aliens.gov. No, the site can't be reached. I will share this. There we go. That's all you get. This site can't be reached. Unfortunately. Never mind. Get rid of that. Right, where were we? Oh, what's that? Who's talking? Shush. Sorry about that. Right, here's what we know about the mysterious new domains. And there's a picture of it. Is that the White House? I think it is, isn't it? Is that the ballroom that is it that is either knocked down or is having built? I don't know, but anyway. Oh, there we go. White House ballroom renderings. Oh, right, fair enough. Yeah, we're right. Anybody think I were American? Right, as of March 19th... Hang on. As of March 19th, the federal government has not provided information on why the two domains were created. In a statement provided to USA Today on March 19th, White House Principal Deputy Press Secretary, crikey, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Anna Kelly, said stay tuned, or did she say stay tuned? In a cool way, including an alien emoji after her message. Right, so I'm guessing it's not about illegal aliens then. The Pentagon did not immediately respond for comment about the domains when contacted by USA Today on March 19th. So does that mean, because it just said a US agency created the domain, so does that mean that the agencies were based at the Pentagon? Because they contacted the Pentagon, didn't they? As of March 19th, alien.gov or aliens.gov directs online users to a finished website. None for me, just then you just said can't get there. Domains come soon, blah, blah, blah. The creation of the government website Domains comes less than a month after President Donald Trump said he would order Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and other agencies to release government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP, and unidentified flying objects, UFOs. Trump's comments were made after former President Barack Obama said on a podcast with Brian Tyler Cohen that he believes extraterrestrial life exists but has never seen evidence of it. The comment drew much attention and Trump criticised Obama for releasing classified information, which was a bizarre statement. But it's Donald Trump. He's always saying weird things, isn't he? Love him or like him, love him or loathe him, he says weird stuff, doesn't he, does Donald Trump? Some government documents related to UAPs have been made publicly available. In 2023, former President Joe Biden, what the hell happened then? Signed a bill that required the National Archives and Records Administration, NARA, I don't know, to create a collection of government files about UAPs. Some of these records are available for viewing on the National Archives website. It's that video popping up again, isn't it? Under the law, the National Archives must also gather information about technologies of unknown origin and non-human intelligence. However, the measure still allows government agencies to keep records classified. There'll be a lot of covering up stuff. What do they call it now? When they black out lines of text, I forgot what they call it now. If a president determines the public release of certain records would pose a threat to US intelligence operations and military defence, declassification could be postponed under language in the bill. However, the potential harm of releasing the records must outweigh the public interest of disclosure, according to the legislation. In recent years, Congress has held several hearings related to UFO and UAP sightings. Most recently, in September 2025, 4 witnesses testified about their first-hand experiences with what they believe to be a UAP. The individuals also said they have knowledge that the federal government may be unlawfully shielding from lawmakers about the phenomena. Of course they are. Of course they are. The hearing was third on the topic since 2023. Is that it? Oh, yes, that's it. That's it. But it's not the end of the story, because if we go to this other one, I think it's from the New York Post again. Trump's UFO release could include photos of non-human craft proving we aren't alone, says a source, and Shane Galvin. And there's another video. They've always got a bloody video attached to these news items these days, haven't they? Oh, go away. The federal government holds shocking evidence of UFOs. Shocking evidence, blimey, of UFOs. I bet it does. Which proves we are not alone, including satellite imagery of out of this world. Redacted. That's the word I was looking for. Redacted stuff. Anyway. Including out-of-this-world craft that look like nothing we have built, an expert with knowledge of the documents told The Post. The government's trove of UFO docs is massive and includes stunning photos and videos, according to Christopher Mellon, the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense Intelligence during the Clinton and Bush administrations. Is it him that's a millionaire or billionaire, or is he in that family, in the Mellon family, like one of these huge, super wealthy families? I'm sure they are. So don't trust him. He's an elite. Publicly disclosing the information would take UFO discourse to another level, he added. I mean, why have they done that? I don't know. But anyway. Under President Trump's order 2 weeks ago, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth will direct the release of files related to aliens, UFOs, and all other information connected to the highly complex subject matter, the President wrote on Truth Social, which I've still not checked out. But anyway. While the announcement spurred federal agencies, including the White House and the Pentagon, to scramble, there has been no official word on what will be released and when. That's it. Nothing worthwhile will be released, or not much. There'll be the occasional one that'll, pique curiosity, but most of it'll be goof, won't it? The most compelling piece of data, Mellon claimed, are clear satellite photos of craft in space, I don't believe them, above the Earth that are obviously not man-made. I was watching a video today, actually, on YouTube, that were free, a documentary that were free to watch. Not just something that somebody had uploaded, YouTube or, advertising it as whatever, as a free-to-watch movie. Called Fast Walkers, about UFOs seen in space. And I'm about 3/4 of the way through that. It's a long documentary, it's over 2 hours long. That's interesting. Like photos and stuff taken by astronauts in space. Very interesting. Anyway, where were we? We have satellite imagery of craft that sure don't look like anything that we have built or constructed, Mellon said. Those same convincing images of craft engaging in actions that are difficult to explain were referenced by ex-director of National Intelligence and current CIA director John Ratcliffe in a 2021 Fox News interview. I'm sure he can be, trusted, being CIA director. In 2017, Mellon played a key. I always think Melon, which is Elvish for friend, isn't it, in Lord of the Rings? Melon. Played a key role in the release of 3 now famous US military radar images of unidentified aerial phenomenon, or UAPs. It's unidentified anomalous phenomenon now, because they're not always aerial. Sometimes they're in the sea or space. Referred to as the Tic Tac, Go Fast and Gimbal. And he said there are more just like those on government hard drives. I always imagine gimbal being spelt L-E instead of A-L. I'm probably wrong. I think that's Christopher Mellon, isn't it? Yes, it is. That's the gimbal. I'm sure the others know it. Right, never mind. The government now prefers the term UAP, or unidentified anomalous phenomena, to UFO. But everybody still says UFO. Apart from Ross Coulthard, who for some reason he likes the term UAP. I mean, you can't shorten it. You can shorten UFO to UFO, can't you? You can't UAP, UAP. Anyway, there's a significant number of videos from the same sources that were judged unclassified in 2018. Gun cameras on F-18s, forward-looking infrared radar videos. clear, that have been withheld from the public, he said. I know there are, because I've seen some of them, said Mellon, adding, I don't know why I say it like that, Mellon, adding there's no rational reason that I can think of why those videos are being withheld. Though some provocative images should be included in the release, Mellon said he has no expectation for files that confirm the existence of or contact with alien civilizations. The Department of War, the Department of National Intelligence, the National Security Agency, the Defence Intelligence Agency, the Department of Energy, and the National Nuclear Security Administration all have UFO files. There will be, by the way, the Department of Energy does a lot about UFO stuff. I've heard recently a lot of reports of like officials turning up to like UFO sightings or landing zones or whatever with the Department of Energy badges and stuff like that. Anyway, all have UFO files that will be relevant to the Trump-ordered release, Mellon said. Releasing classified and sensitive materials is an unnatural act for intelligence agencies, he said. No, they'll just shred them or delete them off the hard drives or whatever. And not just delete them, they'll... What's the term now? Because when you delete something off a computer hard drive, it doesn't really delete it, does it? It flags the file or whatever as deleted, but it's still actually there, isn't it? And can be recovered. But you can actually overwrite the file, can't you, with, whatever, with trash data to make sure it's completely gone or unreadable. They probably do that. Where were we? I have a feeling bureaucracy is going to react slowly, and I don't think they're going to put the best stuff out quickly if they do at all. No, they won't. They'll never put the best stuff out, he said. Congressional vigilance is needed to ensure a thorough and effective process. They'll never look at face on him. They'll never admit to it because there's too much at stake for all these agencies that have probably had people bumped off because of what they know and they're threatened to go public or whatever. They're being bumped off. I think they have anyway. So there's that stuff that they would have to answer for, wouldn't they? And they don't want to. Senator Mike Rounds, Republican, South Dakota, senior member of the Senate Armed Services Service Committee, who introduced the UAP Disclosure Act with Minority Leader Chuck Schumer in 2023, is hoping for a broad release that ensures US military secrets are preserved. Rounds hopes for as much disclosure as we can get with regard to just being honest to the American people about what we see that we either don't know about or that we're learning about. And I just want to make sure that whatever we put out, we do not impact our own national security capabilities. So there we go, is that it? They won't release anything of note. With no chance. It says they still make hard paper copies to store. For some reason, the government still keeps a paper trail. It's probably rightly so, because, as I said, digital files and stuff can be erased, can't they? Or if some huge magnetic pulse could just wipe all the hard drives, couldn't it? If you got it on paper. Stored away in some deep underground military base, it's safe, isn't it? For all eternity. Buried alive. But anyway, they'll not release it. But yes, you're right, Justin, you're right. Right, what's next? What's the next article? Speaking of Project Hail Mary, we're going to talk about that. What am I doing? Oh, there we go. There it is, from the Christian Science Monitor. Aliens and UFOs still fascinate. Project Hail Mary Disclosure Day are proof, says the article, which was written by Stephen Humphreys, staff writer. And there's Ryan Gosling in Project Hail Mary, which Justin has seen and recommends highly. Right, can you read that? Shall I make that bigger? Make that bigger. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Justin says, I think it's all stored in the Arctic and South Pole. Maybe so. Or, as I said, some deep underground military base that's, super... what's the term? Climate controlled sort of thing. So it's super dry. They used to use like salt mines and stuff, didn't they? Because salt mines were, because all the salt keeps the moisture away, doesn't it? They used to store stuff in that. But anyway, it's a good book and a great movie. I've never read the book. I can't remember the last time I sat down and read a novel, which is kind of annoying when you think about it. But anyway, and sad. Anyway, where were we? Christian Science Monitor. It was the kind of marketing not even Hollywood money could buy. In February, Steven Spielberg's secretive summer sci-fi movie. Say that 3 times fast. Steven Spielberg's secretive summer sci-fi movie. Alliteration much. Was unveiled. Disclosure Day, another bit of alliteration, is about humans discovering that they are not alone in the universe. It's a terrible title. There were other titles, weren't there? Like just Disclosure, and there were the working title, something like The Dish or something like that. Maybe they changed it so it didn't get mixed up with the Sam Neill film about the Apollo missions. That was called The Dish, wasn't it? Anyway, the trailer features a mysterious crop circle and a character alleging a government cover-up. In another scene, a television weather reporter suddenly begins speaking in an alien language during a live forecast. That's the translation cloudy with a chance of UFOs. What are they talking about? And that's Emily, what's her face? Emily Blunt, who goes off. Like me. Basically, I make those noises, don't I, when I'm bloody doing this live stream. Maybe I'm an alien. 11 days after the Disclosure Day trailer aired, President Donald Trump started talking about extraterrestrial life. In a social media post, the president wrote that he was directing government agencies, including the Department of Defense, to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified anomalous phenomena, see, the Christian Science Monitor knows the score, UAP, and unidentified flying objects, UFOs. Why we wrote this, the promise of new government UFO records and films that explore out-of-this-world connections are renewing attention on the question of whether humankind is truly alone in the universe. Very good. Speaking of, they're kind of talking about synchronicity and stuff here, aren't they? Whether, this stuff's all happening at the same time. And recently I've kind of become, not a fan, but I've noticed synchronicities. Personally, my day-to-day things, I'll think about something. I can't think of anything in particular right now, but it has happened recently. I've thought about something, or I've read something, but then, something else happens that's connected with it, and thinking, hang on, I'll see something that I haven't thought about for a long time, and then I'll see something else connected with it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just coincidence and all that, but it's been happening a lot lately, for me anyway, on the personal level. But anyway, maybe it's just a case of when you're thinking of something, you notice other iterations of it. Like when you buy a car, you'll start seeing more of that model of car, won't you? So maybe it's something to do with that. Right, we read that bit, didn't we? Right, so for Mr. Spielberg's latest close encounter of the cinematic kind, it was great timing. Since then, Mr. Trump has said that he doesn't think aliens exist. I don't think it said that. He says I think he more or less says he wasn't sure, or he doesn't know, or something like that, won't it? Federal agencies have yet to release new information, but no matter what the files might reveal, extraterrestrials are a subject of fascination in popular culture. Justin says, false flags, psyop, and the phone reads your mind. It seems to, sometimes, your phone does. Blooming does. I pointed it out to my son the other day. What was happening now? It was on about my hair. My beautiful locks. It was on about it. Just talking about it. And I can't remember, what we were on about. He was probably pulling it out. He likes pulling my hair out. He gets great joy in hurting me. But at the time, I was on my phone, playing a game, playing like my card games or whatever, on my phone. And an ad popped up, and it was for, hair products. So I said, let's see, talking about my hair, and an ad for hair products pops up on my phone. So your phones are listening to you. At the very least. Yes, maybe they are reading your mind as well. Anyway, where were we? Stories such as Disclosure Day and the imminent movie adaptation of the sci-fi novel Project Hail Mary invite us to reorient how we think about humankind's place in the universe. Movies have definitively opened us up, even more than print science fiction, to the idea that something is out there, says Fraser Sherman, author of The Aliens Are Here, Extraterrestrial Visitors in American Cinema and Television. There's always been a feedback loop between popular interest in the subject and movies. Extraterrestrials first started showing up in fiction in the late 1800s. Some might say in the writings of ancient man. We've all seen ancient aliens, but I suppose in fiction, modern fiction, you could say. Most notably H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, 1898, imagined technologically advanced invaders from Mars. They had squid-like tentacles and reptilian faces. In an alien beauty pageant, there'd be stiff competition for Jabba the Hutt. During the early 20th century, science fiction flourished through new mediums. In 1902, the visually lavish Le Voyage dans la Lune, A Trip to the Moon, by Georges Méliès, wasn't it? Depicted intelligent bipedal insect-like lunar inhabitants. I'm guessing that must have been based on, H.G. Wells's First Men in the Moon, because the Selenites were insect-like in that, weren't they? Newsstand pulp publications such as Planet Stories featured luridly illustrated sci-fi yarns. Orson Welles' 1938 radio adaptation of War of the Worlds panicked some listeners who thought they tuned into a report of an actual alien invasion. They made a film about it, didn't they? The Night That Panicked America. Extraterrestrials had become popularised. The CIA has a very big investment in media and Hollywood proven facts. Yes, what is it? Project Mockingbird? I think it is, isn't it? The CIA is embedded in it in entertainment. There were numerous places where people could be influenced by what they saw or heard, says Michael Stein, editor of Alien Invasions, The History of Aliens in Pop Culture. I can say, what's this off? This is from Project Hail Mary as well. I've not seen it yet, but they're all looking in the window, a porthole. Those fictional aliens preceded the first widely reported UFO sighting. In 1947, a pilot named Kenneth Arnold told news organisations that he saw 9 flying discs. He didn't say that. He said he saw 9 objects that were kind of boomerang-shaped, crescent-shaped, flying near Mount Rainier in Washington. Is it Washington? Mount Rainier's in Washington, isn't it? I think it is, isn't it? And he said they skipped, they moved like a saucer skipping on water. That's how he described them. And so that's where flying saucer came from. But they weren't actually discs that he saw. They were crescent-shaped or boomerang-shaped. But anyway. There was a BBC production, said Justin, that World War was actually an alien invasion, maybe 2015 or so. I don't know, I hadn't seen that one. I know they did BBC did the version of War of the Worlds, which was terrible. It was rubbish. But I hadn't seen that one about a world war being an alien invasion. Anyway, flying saucer entered the popular lexicon and science fiction. In The Day the Earth Stood Still, 1951, the alien ship was shaped like a giant disc. Yes, it was. The trope persisted in TV series such as V. Yes, it did, in the 1980s, and with the 1995 blockbuster film Independence Day. There's been a comparable relationship between fictional depictions of extraterrestrials and the physical descriptions people have given when reporting alien contact. A similar feedback loop extends to alien conspiracy theories. For example, the alleged government cover-up of a 1947 UFO crash near Roswell, New Mexico. I've got a story from Roswell later on. A lot of the old Roswell mythos and so on, and people's perceptions of it are shaped by what they've seen on The X-Files, says Jesse Walker, which is getting a remake, isn't it? A diverse remake, or reboot, whatever. Says Jesse Walker, author of The United States of Paranoia, a conspiracy theory. Last year, the Wall Street Journal reported that the Pentagon has spent decades spreading UFO disinformation. It created false documents and fabricated images to cover up secret weapons programs at bases such as Area 51 in the Nevada desert. Even so, many UAPs, including accounts of naval pilots encountering wingless objects capable of astonishing speeds and manoeuvres, remain unexplained. But science fiction works best when it invites us to imagine fantastical elements beyond our immediate experience. In Andy Weir's bestseller Project Hail Mary, for instance, spoiler alert, astronaut Ryland Grace is 11.9 light years from Earth when he encounters an alien spaceship. Mr. Weir consciously eschewed tropes of aliens that look like little grey men with egg-shaped heads. His alien resembles a large spider, but with rotating limbs and a stone-like carapace. Sorry, I've got to laugh at the word carapace. It's a private joke. Me and my mate, we always laugh about carapace. And we think canopies for some weird reason. Anyway, the species lacks eyes but visualises objects through sound waves, like Daredevil. It lives in a different atmosphere. Ryland nicknames the alien Rocky. Turns out that Rocky is on a mission like Grace. I'm sure that name's deliberate as well, Grace, to save his home planet. The author sought to ground this fiction in science, because it really does, doesn't it? Because it's him that wrote The Martian, innit? And he scienced the shit out of that, didn't he? Did the protagonist. Anyway. To that end, he asked himself how that species, known in Mr. Weir's book as Iridians, which is a weird thing, because speaking of synchronicities, I was watching a video, I think, today, it might have been this morning, from Area 52, great channel, go and subscribe to Area 52, where they were going through, Chris Ramsey, who hosts the show, he goes through UFO stories and stuff like that, and they were talking about one, from like a whistleblower being on 4chan or whatever, and told all about, spilled the beans on alien contacts and stuff like that, and saying that a lot of them came from, they're essentially humans, but they're from the Epsilon, I think it's the Epsilon Eridani system, which I think in Star Trek is where Vulcan is, isn't it? But they call them the Eridanians or something like that, or it might be the Eridians. That's what the government calls them, because they've been in contact with these. They're essentially humans. We're not from here. I don't know where we're from. Oh no, we are from here. The Eridanians are not from there. They're originally from here. It's a bit like Stargate, and they were placed there, thousands of years ago by another force or whatever, to see how they'd manage not being on Earth, and they thrived and did really well and became more advanced than we are now and all that stuff. And they've come back, not to claim Earth, as their homeland or whatever, but to help us, because there's apparently not nice aliens out there. Anyway, go and subscribe to Area 52. Some great stuff on that channel. But that's another synchronicity. I was just on about that, reading about or listening to him talk about those this morning, the Eridanians, Eridians, something like that. And that's in Project Hail Mary. Spooky, isn't it? Spooky. And it's wasn't a new video from the last couple of weeks. It was from months ago. But anyway, Justin says, if we meet aliens, Rocky and E.T. are the ones to meet. Or the Vulcans. Where were we? In Mr. Weir's book, the Iridians could build a spaceship and leave their planet. That led him to explore ideas about the Iridian language, the formation of its civilization, and their capacity for compassion. Another one of my favourite stories about space travel that's, is it true or not, is Project Serpo. I love that one. Allegedly, maybe, what Close Encounters were based on. with its Project Mayflower. That's what they called it, didn't they? Where they sent people off with the aliens. But yeah, Project Serpo's a fun read. I don't know if the website's still going. There used to be a website about it, didn't there? Anyway, where were we? If everybody in your society has that, as in compassion, then when something happens to me, they all come and help me, says Mr. Weir, whose book has been adapted into a movie starring Ryan Gosling as Grace, and which opens March 20th, and Justin's seen it, and he says it's good. Compassion comes from empathy. I find it hard to believe you could have one without the other. The optimistic outlook about humans and aliens in Project Hail Mary is similar to that found in movies such as Enemy Mine. I don't know about that. I know Enemy Mine. It's the old story, isn't it? About foes coming together to survive. But I don't know if they're not that optimistic, was it really? Justin says Vulcans, yes, but they held us back a bit. I'm with Archer on his Vulcan view. That's true. But they didn't want us to end up like the Andorians, did they? Because I think their Vulcan's first contact was probably with the Andorians, wasn't it? And that didn't work out well for them. Anyway, Enemy Mine, Arrival, which I don't like. Don't like Arrival. It's boring, is Arrival. If you want to see essentially the same story but much more exciting, watch Epoch, which is a great film from the 1999, 2000-ish. Low budget but fun. And Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. What? Hey? They're on about people coming together, aren't they? Former foes coming together. So apart from Arrival, that doesn't happen, does it? But Star Trek 6, the Klingons and Human and Federation come together at the end, don't they, I suppose. Just says, I like Arrival, but it is boring. Yeah, I just found it very unengaging. Anyway, they aren't engaged in war. Humans and extraterrestrials realise they share qualities in common, a shared humanity, if you like. The Star Trek movie playfully gets at that idea when one of the aliens claims, you've not experienced Shakespeare until you've read him in the original Klingon. Tach pa, tach pe. Which everybody who's into Star Trek knows, you couldn't say it in Klingon. Because when Mark Okrand invented the Klingon language, he decided, just because they'd never thought he'd need it, there wouldn't be a verb to be. So he had to make one up. Anyway, in Project Hail Mary, Grace and Rocky share the ability. It sounds like a comedy series, doesn't it? Share the ability to communicate, empathy and compassion. Those three things provide all the ingredients you need for friendship, says Mr. Weir, whose breakout novel The Martian was also made into a film directed by Ridley Scott. Another film which I thought were alright, but it didn't blow my socks off. Wingray says, if you go back to the original series, planets just evolve exactly like us, literally. Yes. I forgot what it is now. Somebody's, I forgot the name of somebody's law of planetary evolution, something like that. They get to a planet that looks exactly like Earth, but without clouds for some weird reason. Well, that Mary, I think it was, wasn't it? Hodgkin's law of planetary evolution. It came to me. Humans are like a cross between Vulcan, Andorians, Klingons, Bajorans. Well, yeah. Yes, Hodgkin, yes. Anyway, Mr. Weir says that if humans made contact with intelligent aliens in real life, it would be the most important moment in human history. By the way, sorry, going back to Justin. Sorry, Justin. Yeah, basically aliens in Star Trek, the alien race, are basically different aspects of human, the human psychology, but each race embodies that aspect, doesn't it, essentially? So Vulcans, our logic, Andorians. Originally in TOS, we didn't really know much about the Andorians, did we? Except they were kind of aggressive, but blue. But we didn't really know a huge amount about him. It was an Enterprise when we learned more about them, didn't it? Like I said, the Klingons were essentially the Eastern Bloc, weren't they? Kind of made up to look kind of like, I don't know, Genghis Khan type things, but they were aggressive, imperial expansion, the Soviet Union and all that stuff, weren't they? And Bajorans were religious people, weren't they? And so the Ferengi were greedy, capitalists and all that. But yeah, anyway. Miri was basically Earth in every way. Yeah. Not a great episode. Right, where were we? I forgot where I was now. I'll start again. Mr. Weir says that if humans made contact with intelligent aliens in real life, it would be the most important moment in human history. I think we already have. Not us generally, but I think people have officially. I think there are treaties and stuff like that have been, signed or whatever. But the public doesn't know about it. But they will one day, I hope. The author says that some people are saying 2027 is the year, but they're always saying that. They're always saying it'll be next year or the year after that. It never happens. Anyway. The author says that the first thing that a devoutly religious person might ask is whether the aliens have souls. Many have well, yes, they will have, unless they're gingers, because as we all know, gingers don't have souls. Many have pondered that hypothetical question. Tholian Sheliak, that Zenkethi, very different. We've never seen a Zenkethi, though, not on screen. We've seen them in comics and stuff, I think, haven't we? But yes, they are very different. Enigmatic, you might say, some of them, aren't they? It will appear as if God had more than one child, so to speak, and I don't see any problem with that, says Avi Loeb, yay, author of Extraterrestrial, the First Sign of Intelligent Life Beyond Earth. If you believe in God being capable of creating the universe, definitely creating other siblings in our family would make a lot of sense. I'm sure, if you're religious and believe that sort of thing, I'm sure each planet has its own messiah or whatever, you know what I mean? Anyway. Mr. Loeb, a Harvard University astronomer, compares such a scenario with the Copernican revolution, the discovery that the Earth revolves around the Sun rather than vice versa. We would have to rethink the idea of being at the centre of our universe. Although we're starting, we realise now that we're not, or the Earth isn't the centre of the universe. Synchronicity again, another thing I was listening to, it might have been yesterday or today, I can't remember, like I say, it all blends in, where it might be the same thing on Area 52 actually, where this person were talking about humans are important. We're important to the wider community, interstellar community, for some reason that we don't know about and we're not aware of, but we do have some importance and we don't know what it is. Who knows? Some people have even suggested that if we stopped, essentially we're creating, it's all to do with like quantum physics and all this stuff, and what is it, the anthropic principle and all this, all this weird quantum physics stuff, that if human beings disappeared, everybody else would disappear. Maybe it'd be same, for all the, I don't know, but bloody cat. Just a minute. Ah, bloody animal. Just bear with me. I'll be back in a moment. Unbelievable. Quiet all day, the cat. Then suddenly when I'm in the middle of a stream, she starts to knock everything over. Wingray says those are non-progenitor races, so it must be. Yes, they are the Tholians, Shellyak and Zenketh. Well, I don't know about the Zenketh because we haven't really seen them, have we? But the progenitor races were essentially, humanoid, weren't they? Anyway, I forgot what we're talking about now. Anyway, never mind. In the trailer for Mr. Spielberg's Disclosure Day, a nun expresses a similar thought. Why would he make such a vast universe yet save it only for us? Or, as Jodie Foster said in Contact, space is really big, and if it's only us, it's a bit of a waste of space, isn't it? Which it is. Oh, that it? All right, fair enough. Right, so there you go. So very interesting, and it brought up that synchronicity stuff for me. Did this article? But yes, it's very interesting. I think anyway. Just says yes, in the theory that humans are the last race or first race. It was a very wild theory. Yeah, it says a weird thing that maybe essentially, I think it just means that we all depend on each other. I think that's what it is. And we should all try and get on. But apparently not everybody in the universe thinks that, according to that thing I was listening to. But anyway, right, where are we? Let's move on. What's this article? Which is this one? Right, okay. Right, next article. This one's from News Nation. I'll share it. There it is. It's another one with really small bloody text. I'm an old fart. I need big text. Wingray says, perhaps their souls are reincarnating in us. Yes, like the Minbari. Minbari souls being reborn in humans. Yes. Like I say, it could all be just a big science fiction story, couldn't it? Or maybe we are, what's the word? Manifesting the universe around us through our fiction. And it could be argued that we can't we? Because there's the many worlds theory, in there, that there's an infinite number of alternate universes where everything can happen. So if you could just think of something, there's a universe where that happens. If you have a weird dream. It's like they said in, what were it, in Angel? Well, it might have been in Buffy as well, but in Angel where they said there's all these different, infinite number of dimensions, and there's one made of shrimp and stuff like that. You could argue that whatever we imagine, we're creating it in an alternate universe. Anyway. Right, so where were we? News Nation. UFO whistleblowers have long felt threatened, ex-security and analyst, says Michael Ramsey. All right, here we go. UFO whistleblowers, this is only a short one, by the way, because I think it links to a video, I think, that you're supposed to watch, because News Nation's on YouTube. UFO whistleblowers have long expressed fears their lives could be in danger if they divulge sensitive information, and that raises concerns about the recent disappearances of retired Air Force officer General McCasland. With considerable knowledge on the topic, a former national security analyst says retired Major General William Neil McCasland went missing February 27th after leaving his Albuquerque, New Mexico home to go hiking. Authorities have said observers say McCasland's career included overseeing classified government programs that include unidentified anomalous phenomena and possible non-human intelligence. His stature and the level of the secrets that he had access to prior to his separation from government make this extremely concerning. Marek von Rennenkampf, what an amazing name, a contributor to The Hill, told Elizabeth Vargas Reports on Wednesday, and there's a link to another News Nation page. Pardon me. Von Rennenkampf, I'm going to change my name to that, that's a cool name, who worked in the State Department during the Obama administration, agreed with Vargas that insiders who have weighed disclosing information about UAPs have said they felt... Oh, excuse me, I'm burping. Said they felt pressured to keep quiet or face potential harm. And there's the silver alert for General McCasland. McCasland was said to be sympathetic to the idea of bringing the public up to speed on UFOs, according to investigative journalist Ross Coulthart. Said von Rennenkampf, I love saying that, none other than Secretary of State Marco Rubio has explicitly, he emphasises, said that UAP whistleblowers fear for their lives, literally fear death if they speak out. I was listening to something on probably on YouTube or whatever, where I think it was Ross Coulthart were on about it actually. It was saying that because the government contracts a lot of, UFO stuff out to other companies, so a lot of these people that want to speak out and come into contact with this UFO knowledge, sort of UAP, whatever, because they work for a private corporation, they're not protected under the same laws as somebody that say worked for the government or were in the military. So that whistleblower rules wouldn't help them, wouldn't cover them because they're working in a private corporation. Maybe it'll say that in here, I don't know. McCasland's wife, Susan McCasland, has downplayed the scope of her spouse's knowledge about UFOs. She probably wouldn't know, to be completely honest. It is true that Neil had a brief association with the UFO community through Tom DeLonge, former frontman of Blink-182, blah, 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 blah. We did this last week, didn't we? During his tenure in the Air Force, McCasland oversaw classified space weapons programs and was head of research at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base near Dayton, Ohio. Coulthart said the facility has long been rumoured to house fragments of extraterrestrial debris from Roswell, New Mexico. Oh, is that it? Oh, I told you it was a short one, didn't I? But the main thing is, where were we, that people are afraid. There we go. Von Rennenkampf has said that people felt pressurised to keep quiet or face potential harm. And I said, I bet they've probably been in working for private corporations that have, been brought in to handle this stuff. Because there are, there's whistleblower laws now, isn't there, for people working within government, for government agencies or the military. But I don't think it extends to private corporations, according to Ross Coulthart, anyway. Right, so there we go. So that's that one. Right, we'll move on. What's next? Which is this one? This is from the Hollywood Reporter. Oh, go away. Sorry, I'm not sharing it yet. Another thing popping up. Show ads. Show ads on our page. No, don't want to. Go away. Is it going to come up again? No, I think we're safe. Right. It'll pop up now, just as I do this. Right, from the Hollywood Reporter, Ryan Gajewski. Another cool name. Sleeping Dog doc about UFO researcher Jeremy Corbell lands May release. Falcon Scout Media distributes director Michael Lazowski's, some cool names today, isn't there? Feature about a leading voice behind the push for UAP disclosure, and that's Jeremy Corbell there. I'm not a huge fan of him, to be completely honest. I kind of admire what he's done and all that, but there's something about him I'm not sure about. It kind of rubs me up the wrong way. George Knapp, on the other hand, is amazing, is a legend. Love George Knapp. But Jeremy Corbell, he comes across as a dude bro, He's got his beard and stuff and his tattoos and all that. But some might say same about Chris Ramsey, and I think he's great, so never mind. Anyway, yeah. A documentary feature about a notable researcher of unexplained phenomena is ready to launch. It says, Information Act does not cover businesses because of copyrights and other things. There you go. There you go. Falcon Scout Media has acquired North American rights for Sleeping Dog and is planning a mid-May theatrical and digital release. Director Michael Lazowski's movie focuses on filmmaker and ufologist Jeremy Corbell, who is known for his UFO research and for directing the 2018 documentary Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers. Sleeping Dog has been decades in the making and chronicles Corbell's unlikely path from mixed martial artist to a journalist at the centre of the battle for disclosure of unidentified anomalous phenomena. Corbell has worked with investigative reporter George Knapp, legend, to obtain and release military-filmed UAP footage and has provided briefings to Congress. The documentary includes previously unseen footage from Corbell's early investigations, in addition to interviews with such insiders as astronaut Dr. Edgar Mitchell, Colonel John B. Alexander, John Lear, Bob, I think all of those are no longer with us, Bob Lazar, David Grush, Edmund Storms, and Commander David Fravor. All of whom are, UFO people, essentially, are they? The film examines the challenge that Corbell has faced in his efforts to bring a spotlight to his findings. This is the most difficult thing I've ever allowed people to see personally, Corbell says in a statement. Corbell and Lazowski produced the film that counts Jim Martin as executive producer. WME's Lance Klein represents the project. I have no idea what that means. Sleeping Dogs' release arrives amid Hollywood's renewed fascination with alien life. The Ryan Gosling-led Project Hail Mary is currently a box office hit, and the hit with Justin too. Let's play Justin's song, shall we? Where is it? Where have I put the blooming thing? Which is Justin's? There he is.
He's screaming with laughter. He's cheering for ghosts. He toasts all the creatures. He loves them the most. When the rubber-suited terror hits the fog machine glow, Justin's in heaven, in the front row. Justin's in heaven, in the front row.
Meatloaf singing Just for Justin, because he's in heaven in the front row. Anyway, where were we? Box office hit. While Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day hits theatres this summer, and Ryan Coogler is spearheading a reboot of The X-Files, which I don't think's going to go well. I genuinely don't. But anyway, because it's going to be except it's not going to be diverse. It's basically, I'm going to say it. It's going to be Black X-Files, isn't it? That's what it's going to be. That's it. And it's not going to be like, it is. It's going to be awful. I think it is. Anyway, I believe people will be genuinely shocked, as I was, says Lazowski, who previously helmed the short film Magdalena. I came into this as a complete outsider, and I was shocked, not only by Jeremy Corbell's investigative journey, but by the extent to which he has influenced public transparency and the remarkable level of engagement he receives on a daily basis by intelligence agencies. And I presume that's the poster. There's Jeremy Corbell. As I said, there's something about him. But I think that about a lot of people. I'm sure they're all perfectly nice people. Everybody loves Robert Meyer Burnett, and so do I. But I think he's got skeletons. There's something about Robert Meyer Burnett that I'm thinking, there's something there in the background that we'll learn about later that he doesn't want anybody to know. But anyway, I don't know. Wingrace says, did you see the casting? Yes, I did, but it's going to be the Black X-Files. People call them the Malcolm X-Files, aren't they? That's what people are calling it. But anyway, I will give the new X-Files a shot. I'm a fair person. Oh, well, I'll give it a shot, but I'm not building my hopes up for it. Anyway. Oh, that's it. All right, we're done. So there we go. That's the poster for Sleeping Dog. Or is it just Sleeping Dog? I thought it was Sleeping Dogs. People interviewing him. But anyway, so there we go. So that should be interesting, maybe. We'll see, won't we? Jeremy Corbell's getting a documentary made about him. That guy's Rasputin eyes. He has. He's got very deep eyes, hasn't he? Very, I can't say. There's a lot going on in his eyes, isn't there? In my opinion. But anyway, we'll move on to J.D. Vance. That's who we're moving on to next. At what page is this? NDTV World. Is this a Japanese channel? I don't know. I might be thinking of somebody else. J.D. Vance says he's obsessed with UFOs, calls aliens demons. Another one with tiny text. Tiny text. There we go. Interest in UFOs and related phenomena has been renewed. Oh, crack, I'm joking. In recent years, as the US government investigated numerous reports of seemingly supernatural aircraft. Supernatural aircraft? That's like something from the 1940s, isn't it? The supernatural aircraft was spotted above New York City. Anyway, and there he is, J.D. Vance, who I had no idea were the same fella from all those memes, you know, the fat fella with massive hair. I didn't realise it was him. He's changed, hasn't he? Anyway, right, US Vice President J.D. Vance vowed Friday to plumb US government information about unidentified flying objects, adding that in his view, aliens are in fact demons. I have not been able to spend enough time on this to really understand it, it shows. But I am going to, trust me, I'm obsessed with this, a laughing Vance told the Conservative podcaster Benny Johnson. I've still got 3 more years as Vice President. I will get to the bottom of the UFO files, he added. Now what? Johnson had asked about President Donald Trump's order to federal agencies in February to begin identifying and releasing government files related to UFOs and aliens. Trump said he was taking the step based on the tremendous interest shown the same month that former President Barack Obama, blah, 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 we know all about that. Vance, for his part, told Johnson on Friday, I don't think they're aliens, I think they're demons. You're not helping yourself, mate. Describing this as a Christian understanding of celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people. Is he talking about probing? I think he is. No evidence has been produced of intelligent life beyond Earth. Yes, it has. Lots of evidence has been produced of intelligent life beyond Earth. You know, astronomical evidence even. I mean, detected lights, haven't there, that could be artificial on, you know, is it the James Webb Telescope or something, so that there's a certain pattern of lights coming from, you know, an exoplanet that could be intelligent. Anyway, whatever. Interest in UFOs and related phenomena has been renewed in recent years as the US government investigated numerous reports of seemingly supernatural aircraft whizzing through our skies, amid worries that adversaries could be testing highly advanced technologies. In March 2024, the Pentagon released a report saying it had no proof that unidentified aerial phenomena were alien technology, with many suspicious sightings turning out to be merely weather balloons, spy planes, satellites, and other normal activity. Many, not all. Except for the headline, this story has not been edited by NDTV staff and is published from a syndicated feed. And there we go. So J.D. Vance thinks the demons. Maybe they are. Maybe they're from that place at the centre of the galaxy, whatever, from Star Trek animated series. With, was it Lucian? Anyway, we'll move on. What's the next one? Right, here we go. This one's on MSN. Right, share this one. Where are you going? From ancient skies to modern sightings, UFOs and strange objects in the skies. Story by Emily Stanley Allard. Right, lately, can you see that? Yeah. Lately, it feels like the sky has been putting on a show. Drones, meteors, unexplained flashes, strange craters in the wilderness. And just enough strange activity to make people pause and look up a little longer than usual. And when that happens, it naturally leads to a bigger question that never really goes away. Have we been sharing this world with somebody else, something else, all along? I don't need a tote bag, no. If you've ever watched Ancient Aliens, followed the mystery of Skinwalker Ranch, or grown up on classics like E.T. I wouldn't have said E.T., but, you know, yeah, I went to see it at the cinema and that, but, you know. That curiosity probably isn't new. I'd say Close Encounters, me. Wingray says, except they were good demons who were persecuted. Yes, they were. It's one of those ideas that sits just beneath the surface, easy to dismiss, but just as easy to revisit when something unusual catches your attention. What's often overlooked is how far back this fascination actually goes. UFO sightings aren't a modern phenomenon. They stretch across centuries, appearing in ancient text, historical records, and now increasingly in documented modern encounters backed by radar, video, and first-hand accounts. This isn't just a collection of isolated stories, it's a timeline of moments that have consistently challenged how we understand what's happening above us and around us. And then we see an AI image. The idea, catch me using AI, the idea of UFO sightings isn't something that suddenly, speaking of AI, that were another thing that came up recently in something, that the AI that we're developing now is essentially the same AI used by aliens on other worlds. I didn't really understand what they were talking about, but it will reach a level, and then something will happen. I don't know what, but yeah. Anyway, the idea of UFO sightings isn't something that suddenly appeared in modern times. It quietly threads its way back through some of the oldest stories we have. Across different civilizations, there are references to strange objects in the sky, unexplained lights, and encounters that didn't quite fit the understanding of the world at the time. These accounts show up in ancient texts, artwork, and even cave paintings, leaving behind fragments of something people clearly struggle to explain. Where's the rest of it? Oh, they continue reading. Wingray says, there was that story where an AI told someone that we didn't invent it. It's always been here. We just accessed it. See? In ancient India, epics like the Mahabharata and the Ramayana describe Vimanas. I think it's supposed to have two A's there, I think. Anyway. Vimanas, flying machines said to be used by gods, often depicted as moving through the sky with purpose and control, and firing nuclear missiles as well. Meanwhile, Roman historians wrote about mysterious flying shields seen overhead. I think that was the Siege of Tyre, I think. Objects that appeared suddenly and defied any familiar explanation. What's striking isn't just the descriptions themselves, it's how consistent the theme is. Long before modern aviation or technology, people across entirely different cultures were looking up and documenting things they couldn't fully make sense of. Documenting things of which they couldn't fully make sense. Stop using I forgot what they call it. You ended that sentence with a preposition. Anyway. During the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, there were numerous accounts of mysterious objects seen in the sky. Chronicles from this period describe sightings of strange stars, fiery globes, and cross-shaped objects traversing the heavens. There's that woodcut, isn't there, from, is it the 1514? I can't remember. But is it new? I think it's set in it's from Nuremberg, isn't it, in Germany, which shows weird stuff going on in the sky. Fiery globes and cross-shaped objects, for instance. Often interpreted through a religious lens as signs from God or omens. Here we go. One of the most famous, I should read these, shouldn't I? One of the most famous sightings occurred in Nuremberg, Germany, in 1561. The residents observed what they described as an aerial battle, followed by the appearance of a large black triangular object and a crash landing outside the city. The event was documented in the local newspaper, the Nuremberg Gazette. Doesn't sound very glamorous, does it? Particularly back in 1561. Let's find a picture of it for you. Nuremberg 1556. I'll just type that and that should find it, shouldn't it? There we go. Straight away, first one. Which one shall we use? We'll use that one. Open image in new tab. Could be a bit bigger, couldn't it? Bloody hell. So there we go. Oh, I'm going to share this. There we go. That's the thing from Nuremberg, 1561. Something weird happened, didn't it, in the sky there? The sun's not looking happy, if it is the sun. That says some smoke going on there. Something's crashed there, hasn't it, by the looks of it? And that weird, a big black triangle, or is it an arrow, or whatever, I don't know what it's supposed to be. And then there's like motherships with orbs coming out, and there's all sorts kicking off, and the crosses, and oh, it all happened back on that day, didn't it? It all happened on that day. Right, oh, crikey, I'm back on. Oh, bloody hell, I've made a mistake, haven't I? What am I like? Right, I've got to find the blooming... What were we up to? What were we up to? Is it that one? Is it that one? I've lost my page. I were on. No, it's that one. That's all right. I found it again. Which one is it? Where the hell is it? There we go. Found it. There we go. Right. We're off. We're off again. Right. Unbelievable. Click the wrong button. I stopped sharing. So that was the Nuremberg thing. Right, the 19th century airships. The 19th century saw a series of airship sightings across the United States, particularly during the 1896-1897 period. Witnesses reported seeing powered dirigible-like vehicles equipped with searchlights and sometimes occupants piloting them. These sightings occurred before human flight was a reality. Not that long before, to be honest, making them particularly puzzling and sensational at the time. Like I said, the airship flap, weird, but like I say, it wasn't that far before actual. I mean, there were balloons back then, weren't there? People have been ballooning for like well over 100 years. But, there could have been prototype airships for all we know. Who knows? Because people came out speaking, I think they were described as like speaking, European languages, maybe like German or whatever. So what, a Zeppelin, top secret German airship. Because we know they used them in World War One, because they used to bloody drop bombs on London from Zeppelins, didn't they? But and that was only a few years later. But anyway, and there was another one, wasn't there, where somebody saw, was it an airship? A farmer saw one of these airships, and it fired I think he described it as red ropes into one of his cows and pulled it up into it. And I thought, maybe they weren't ropes, maybe they were laser beams or something, or some sort of red tractor beam or whatever, I don't know. But that's that. Right, the modern era of UFO sightings began in earnest in the 20th century with two pivotal events that shaped public and governmental interest in the phenomenon, which we've already talked about, haven't we? The 1947 Kenneth Arnold incident. Oh, here we go. She gets this right. Look, the term flying saucer was coined after private pilot Kenneth Arnold reported seeing 9 crescent-shaped objects flying at high speeds near Mount Rainier, Washington. This incident garnered national media attention and is often considered the start of the modern UFO era. And yes, and like I said, he described them as moving like a saucer skipping across a pond. I think that's what he said, which is where the flying saucer term was coined. And that's a lot of people said that proves that flying saucers don't exist, because they only started appearing to look like flying saucers after that. But he didn't see saucers. He saw crescent-shaped objects or boomerang-shaped objects. It's a puzzler, to be completely honest. That airship one is good. The airship flap was strange. But like I say, it wasn't that far before airships were invented, was it? But anyway. Roswell, perhaps the most famous UFO incident in history, occurred near Roswell, New Mexico. A rancher, Mac Brazel, discovered mysterious wreckage on his land, leading to claims of a recovered alien spacecraft. The US military stated it was a crashed weather balloon, after saying it was definitely a flying saucer. But they soon backpedaled, didn't they? Major Jesse Marcel, the intelligence officer, and I've met his son. But the incident has remained at the heart of UFO conspiracy theories. Winkler says their perception filter just shows us how we can handle. And that's based on popular media. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, more than likely, yes. The testing us when they show stuff like Dark Skies or let's say Close Encounters, E.T., whatever, Arrival, they're testing us to see how we'll react to it really happening, which is nonsense really, because we know we're watching films and fictional stories. But anyway, that said, they should do another War of the Worlds like H.G. Orson Welles version, where they do like did we Ghost Watch back in 1992, where a lot of people thought that were a real investigation on the BBC of a haunted house. They'd missed the opening bit saying it wasn't real, and a lot of people thought that they should do something like that about an alien invasion, but then tell us after, it were fictional. But anyway. The Amazon version of War of the Worlds. No, I don't know. I've not seen it. I found a War of the Worlds when I was going through my boxes. I found a DVD I got years ago, the Pendragon version of War of the Worlds. Now that's bad, I'm telling you. Like an independent production. Anyway, where were we? Government involvement. The increasing number of UFO sightings over the years has led to governmental investigations. In the United States, projects such as Project Blue Book, 1952 to 1969, were initiated by the US Air Force to study UFO sightings. Although officially it concluded that most sightings were misidentifications of natural phenomena or conventional aircraft, the closure of such projects only fueled more speculation and conspiracy theories about government cover-ups. They never really close them, they just move them, just hand them over to somebody else, don't they? Because before Blue Book there were Grudge and Sign, and then there were Blue Book, and then there was stuff afterwards. They never really stopped. Anyway, right, Project Blue Book was the code name for the US Air Force's official study of unidentified flying objects, which ran from 1952 until its termination in 1969, probably after the Robertson panel, I think it was, wasn't it? It was the third and most extensive of a series of systematic investigations into UFO sightings following the earlier Project Sign and Project Grudge, launched at the height of Cold War anxiety and increasing public fascination with flying saucers. Because, like I said, in 1952, there were the huge UFO flap over Washington, D.C., weren't there? Which probably made them, do Blue Book, which were a public relations exercise, really, wasn't it? Wasn't really a serious investigation. Anyway. Where were we? Project Blue Book was both a response to national security concerns and a public relations effort to quell fears of alien visitors. Headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, the project collected over 12,000 UFO reports during its lifespan. Each case was analysed to determine whether it could be explained by conventional means, such as aircraft, weather phenomena, or hoaxes, or swamp gas, or if it remained unidentified. According to the final report, around 94% of sightings were eventually explained, but about 701 remained officially unexplained. Notably, some of the most credible sightings involved military pilots' radar corroboration and visual confirmation by multiple witnesses. Despite public interest, Project Blue Book concluded with a 1969 report known as the Condon Report, which declared, that was it, the Robertson panel were earlier, I think, wasn't it? Which declared that UFOs posed no threat to national security and offered no evidence of extraterrestrial craft. The Air Force used this as the justification to shut down the project. Still, many critics, including scientists, researchers and former military officials, argued that the project was more concerned with debunking sightings than with objectively investigating them. Because I think J. Allen Hynek, who were the the local astronomer, because they were, an astronomer that were living, just happened to be living near Wright Patterson. So they got him on board, didn't they? And he said, they were there to debunk, essentially. It was him that came up with the swamp gas thing, wasn't it? But then he ended up becoming a UFO believer and even appeared in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But anyway. To this day, Project Blue Book remains a symbol of the government's complex relationship with the UFO phenomenon, and it continues to fuel both conspiracy theories and genuine scientific inquiry into the unknown. Global sightings. I wouldn't want to see that. UFO sightings are not limited to the United States. They've always been a global phenomenon, one that shows up across centuries, cultures and very different levels of technological understanding, from the mass sighting over the skies of Nuremberg in the 16th century, where residents reported aerial objects appearing to battle in the sky, to the 1966 Westall incident in Australia, where more than 200 students and teachers witnessed an unexplained craft descend, hover and then accelerate away at a speed no known aircraft could match. These moments tend to follow a similar pattern: multiple witnesses, sudden appearance, and no clear explanation. Fast forward to modern times and the pattern doesn't disappear, it just becomes better documented. The 2004 Nimitz encounter, recorded by US Navy pilots, captured radar data and first-hand accounts of a craft moving in ways that seem to defy known physics. And more recently, what people are noticing isn't just isolated incidents, but an increase in unusual activity in the sky overall. In the past few weeks alone, multiple meteor sightings have been reported across different regions, with bright fireballs streaking across the night sky and in some cases breaking apart in dramatic flashes. They're probably SpaceX Starlink satellites burning up, probably. While meteors are a natural and well-documented phenomenon, the frequency and visibility of these recent events have added to a growing sense that something unusual is happening above us. It's Apophis coming, the asteroid, not the Goa'uld. It's the harbinger. Whether that's simply increased observation, changing atmospheric conditions, or something we don't fully understand yet. What ties all of this together isn't necessarily a single explanation, it's the consistency. Across time and geography, people continue to look up, or don't, and witness things that don't quite fit into the categories we're used to. Conclusion. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, UFO sightings aren't isolated moments. They're part of a much longer, layered history that stretches across cultures, centuries, and evolving belief systems. Some of these sightings have been explained over time, grounded in science, or traced back to human technology, but not all of them fit neatly into those categories. All it takes is one to be proven to be, alien technology. Which I think they have. They're just not telling us. What keeps the conversation alive is that small percentage that still resists explanation. And now, with the US government openly acknowledging unidentified aerial phenomena or anomalous phenomena and releasing declassified footage, this topic has shifted from fringe curiosity to something far more mainstream and openly discussed. One of the chat show hosts, I can't remember which one it was now, has said recently, I saw the head. I didn't see the thing. I saw the headline where he said, "Was it Bill Maher? How do you say it? Maher. How do you say his name? Maher. I can never pronounce it. Him said something like, UFOs are so validated in the public consciousness that those that don't believe in them now seem like the conspiracy theorists." Anyway. The result isn't necessarily more answers, it's more attention, more questions, and a growing willingness to look at those encounters without immediately dismissing them. Whatever the truth ultimately is, one thing is clear: the curiosity around what's happening in our skies isn't fading anytime soon. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Is there any comments? I bet there isn't. No, there isn't. No, there isn't. Just go on to another article. It's probably from somewhere else, but I don't know where else it's from, because MSN is good at like archiving articles from other places, and they usually tell you where they're from. But it hasn't done with this one for some weird reason. No, it doesn't say where it's from. So never mind. So there we go. So that was interesting. But there you go. Like I said, more people are thinking UFOs are essentially. I think too many people are thinking UFOs are just alien spaceships, and I think there's more to it than that. I've always said it's an all of the above phenomenon. Is UFOs, UAPs, or whatever you want to call them. It's a multifaceted phenomenon. Anyway, right, let's move on. What's this one? Oh, speaking of Roswell, I said Roswell were going to pop up again in a story in a bit. Sorry. Right, there we go. There it is. This one's from KOB4. Paul, the alien abducted in Roswell. I presume they named him after... There he is, by the way. That's Paul, the alien. Oh, excuse me. I presume he's named after the alien Paul in the film Paul. Stanley Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, which is actually quite good. Which I haven't seen for a while. I've got it on Blu-ray over there. I'll have to dig it out. It's funny. I think Seth Rogen does his voice, I think. But obviously named after him. Anyway, it's been nicked, apparently. It's been stolen. Not that you can read it. Let's make that bigger. There we go. It's a bit better, isn't it? Roswell, New Mexico. The words alien abduction usually refer to stories of some unfortunate human getting beamed up to a flying saucer. That's not what happened in this version. Rib Crib Barbecue in Roswell said someone stole their alien statue named Paul. Paul's usual spot is lounging around by the front doors, the restaurant said. Someone grabbed the statue on March 14th, ran out with it, and put the alien in a pickup truck driven by an accomplice before making his escape. Unbelievable. Roswell police said they were able to use surveillance video and license plate information to identify the owner of the pickup as a 28-year-old man from Hispaniola. The Roswell police said the man agreed to return Paul. From there, police were able to give it back to the restaurant. So it all ended happily. Police said the owner of the restaurant chose not to press charges since the owner's main concern was getting Paul back to greet customers. And there he is, I presume, back with a pretty young police lady advertising the barbecue. Cater for 10, it says on the picture. Rib Crib Barbecue in Roswell. So there we go. So Paul is back where he belongs, smoking a big spliff. Oh dear. So there we go. A happy story. That should have been and finally, shouldn't it? But never mind. Right, what's next? We're in Los Angeles magazine now. Sorry, I'm a bit sniffy. I think I'm coming down with something. Roswell, the White House, and bizarre disappearances inside the new UFO storm, writes Lauren Conlin. Following a high-profile disappearance, the general that we talked about, Dr. Bill Burns suggests even US presidents may not control what's known about extraterrestrial encounters. I shake my head about Bill Burns because I'll tell you in a minute. Bill Burns was the editor of the American UFO magazine. Back in the day, there was a UK version of UFO magazine, and Bill Burns tried suing them essentially. You know, it got his lawyers to send cease and desist notices and stuff because he had the copyright for the term UFO. But they just ignored him. And when I worked for UFO Data magazine, they got one as well. They got a cease and desist letter from Bill Burns' lawyers saying that he owned the copyright of the word UFO, so they couldn't use it in a magazine. So we just ignored him. And it never went any further. It does me head in, this Bill Burns. But anyway. Just it says rib crib sounds tasty. It does, doesn't it? Right, so anyway, there we go. Curious citizens turned out by the hundreds to scan the night sky for UFOs on March 21st, 1966. Oh, right, fair enough. Right, amid the bizarre disappearance, Did he own it? What the term UFO? I had no idea, but he tried, stopping people using the word UFO in magazine publications. But there's loads of magazines with the word UFO in, isn't there? But anyway, he's just a knob. Anyway, but whatever. Amid the bizarre disappearance of retired Air Force General Neil McCasland in New Mexico, who had access to classified aerospace and defense research, Los Angeles, as a magazine, spoke with longtime UFO researcher Dr. Bill Burns about a growing pattern of unexplained incidents, presidential secrecy, and his controversial theories about human origins. I remember when he was just Bill Burns and not Dr. Bill Burns, going on about how he got I thought he'd got a doctorate in law or something, but it says in this, I've not read it all, but I glanced through it and it says he's got a doctorate of psychology. Maybe he's got that as well, I don't know. But bet he got it from one of them online universities. Anyway, Burns, a former publisher of UFO magazine, host of the History Channel's UFO Hunters, and co-author of The Day After Roswell, which is about Philip J. Corso's, Colonel Corso's back engineering of alien technology, has spent decades investigating unidentified aerial phenomena and alleged government secrecy. He holds a doctorate in psychology. I could have sworn he said he had his PhD was in law. And has interviewed military witnesses tied to some of the most well-known UFO cases in modern history, Roswell. The timing of McCasland's disappearance has drawn particular attention as it came shortly after President Donald Trump publicly spoke about the possible disclosures. Blah, blah, blah. We know all about that, though. He's doing that. Burns pointed to a long history of presidents suggesting limits to what they could publicly reveal. Former President Bill Clinton said he tasked then Deputy Attorney General Webster Hubbell with investigating both the Roswell incident, if you aren't familiar, keep reading, we'll explain, and the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, later claiming that there appeared to be information even he, as the president, could not fully access. Yes, because there's levels of secrecy above what the president has access to. Former President Barack Obama, when asked about UFOs during a late-night television interview, yes, we've seen about that, famously joked he was not allowed to talk about it. Oh, right, fair enough. I thought about that other thing. A comment often remembered by UFO researchers as evidence of restricted disclosure. Lauren Conlon writes on X here, I had an absolutely wild interview with Dr. Bill Burns of the History Channel's blah, 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 blah. Yeah, whatever. Oh, there she is. The Roswell incident, which is frequently referenced in UFO discussions, dates back to July 1947, when debris recovered near Roswell, New Mexico, was initially described by the U.S. Army Air Forces as a flying disc, before officials quickly retracted the statement and said it was a weather balloon. There were even reports of extraterrestrial debris. The US government later concluded the debris, or debris, however you want to pronounce it, was part of a top-secret Project Mogul surveillance balloon, though the event remains... But I thought that was later. I thought that was like 1949 or something. I'm sure it was. Though the event remains a cornerstone of UFO conspiracy theories. Burns maintains that eyewitness accounts from military personnel at Roswell suggested unidentified craft were observed prior to the incident, though those claims remain unverified. I'm just reading about that. I've seen that before. Truth Poll. For the first time ever, the exact Roswell UFO crash site has been revealed. An egg-shaped craft about the size of a Volkswagen Beetle was found crashed 27 miles from where metallic debris was found. Alien bodies were also recovered. I've not seen that one before. Anyway, we'll carry on. Justice says, I remember Bigelow was all the rage. He was working with NASA. He bought Skinwalker Ranch, didn't he? He set up NIDS, the National Institute for Discovery Science, didn't he? And bought Skinwalker Ranch. I think he also bought another one, didn't he? Another ranch nearby. I forgot what that was called. To investigate the weird stuff that went on there. But yeah, he's into UFOs and all that stuff. And he wants to build. For a while, he wanted to build a space hotel, didn't he? A big inflatable space hotel. I don't know if he still wants to do that, but anyway. It's also safe to say that Burns' views do lean more into a controversial territory. He even went further in the interview, making a series of extraordinary claims about extraterrestrials and human origins. What they, the extraterrestrial, told me, what is Bill Burns saying now he's spoken to an ET? Told me is that they've been here, this planet is a colony and they are watching us, Burns said, describing what he characterised as encounters with non-human emissaries. Oh dear. I think his aerospace is closed. Is he not doing it anymore? Oh, right, fair enough. He also referenced interpretations of the Bible to support his theory that extraterrestrial beings may have influenced human origins. Burns pointed to the book of Genesis describing the Nephilim, which he said translates to those who descended, arguing that such language could mean there were ancient accounts of non-human entities interacting with early humans. In his view, these interpretations align with claims from former military officials and researchers that humanity may not yet be prepared for full disclosure. Despite the wild nature of these claims, Burns said the lack of transparency continues to fuel public curiosity, of course. I think generally everybody would be the think whatever. If the government just said, yes, aliens exist and UFOs are alien spacecraft, they're coming here, we can't do anything about it, but they don't seem to be, doing anything wrong, so to speak, we're fine. And I think most people would say, whatever, does it affect my life? No, then I'm not bothered. Most people are like that. Obviously, some people would be freaking out, because there always is people that freak out about stuff, isn't there? But anyway. Where were we? The real truth is... whatever. The real truth is right in front of us, he said, but we don't know how to recognise it. While there is no verified evidence linking McCaslin's disappearance to UFO-related activity, his case has been discussed alongside other deaths and disappearances that have circulated in UFO research circles. Figures such as British weapons expert Dr. David Kelly, whose 2003 death was officially ruled a suicide. He was suicided. I think everybody pretty much believes that. And other scientists have been cited in speculative discussions. I don't know what David Kelly's got to do with UFOs, though, to be completely honest. But anyway. Though officials have not connected those cases to extraterrestrial research. So what did you mention it for, then? Don't know. Why did you mention John Mack? Mention John Mack. He was killed in London by a drunk driver, who I don't think were ever caught. Anyway. Most people would say, whatever, the uber religious may have an issue. Yes, that's basically what I meant. For now, McCaslin's disappearance remains unexplained, with no official indication of foul play or connection to classified programmes. But as calls for transparency intensify, this case has become part of a bigger narrative that combines national security, science, and questions about what, if anything, lies beyond. Oh, is that it? I thought that was a longer article than that. Never mind. I'm going to say something. I forgot what it was now. Never mind. But yeah, I think most people would just say, it doesn't affect me, so therefore I'm not bothered. But as Justin says, is the super religious people would have bother. And then he goes on to say, me as a religious person, it kind of would strengthen my faith. Yeah, it could do. It could. I don't think it'd affect anybody, anybody's faith. As I said, God created the entire universe. He created them as well, didn't he? So, we are all God's children, so to speak. What were we going to say? Oh, yes, that was it. Because even the Catholic Church is open to. I think I've mentioned this before. Is open to intelligent alien life. The Pope even said, I don't think it's this Pope, a previous Pope maybe, or maybe it is the current Pope. I can't remember. I said, he'd be willing to baptise an alien, an extraterrestrial, if they wanted to be baptised. But I think we should just go on a religious crusade across the galaxy. It'd be like blooming the Spanish in South America, in Central and South America. But there we go. Right, what's next? I told you a lot of articles, over 2 hours, and we still haven't done. We still haven't done. Oh, which is this one? Right. Sorry, I'm a bit sniffy. I do apologise. I blow my nose and everything, but I'm still a bit sniffy. Right, next up, from The Mirror US. Where are we? NASA scientist addresses mystery sightings of alien satellites orbiting Earth, says Michael Moran. A former NASA developer has analysed 1,950 photographic plates showing 9, is that all, unexplained objects in Earth's orbit years before the first satellite launch, sparking alien technology theories. And there she is, Dr. Beatriz Villarreal. I think they spelled that wrong. Justin says Warhammer 40k, The Great Crusade. I've never played it. When I said, I always think of Nemesis in 2000 AD comic. That were about humans going out and conquering the universe. It was like the Spanish Inquisition going out and conquering the universe. With Torquemada fighting against Nemesis. Anyway, from the Terran Empire, Mighty Terror, Termite they called it, Mighty Terror. For the Emperor. Anyway, right, with Elon Musk's Starlink satellites now cluttering the night sky, identifying an asteroid or anything more unusual has become nearly impossible for stargazers. I say astronomers hate that this Elon Musk putting all these satellites up, and I mean, others are as well, aren't they? What's his face? The other one. I'm blanking on his name now. What do you call it? The Amazon fella. He's launching them as well. He's doing his own version, isn't he, of Starlink, which is called something else. I can't remember. But yeah, because if you do like, there's that many of them now. If you do like long exposures of the night sky, you know, to get more light into your lens for see fainter objects, more often than not, you'll get several satellite traces as they're moved across the frame. And like I say, because there's thousands of them now up there, isn't there? It's becoming impossible for long exposures. But anyway. However, a fresh analysis of night sky photographs taken before the first satellite launched in 1957 has uncovered evidence of rapidly moving objects in Earth's orbit that scientists can't explain. The photographic plates captured in April 1950... Oh, right, so it's analysed photographic plates from 1950. I thought she'd analysed 1,950 photographic plates. Should put photographic plates from 1950. God's sake. Captured in April 1950, it revealed 9 fast-moving and seemingly reflective objects in near-Earth orbit. The new analysis of the images coincides with President Trump's blah, 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 blah. Yes, we know about President Trump and UFOs. It says, like the movie Gravity, I see a Kessler syndrome happening. I've seen Gravity, but I don't know what the Kessler syndrome is. I don't know. You'll have to explain that one to me, Justin. Do you mean when it's going to be too dangerous for us to launch stuff into space because it'll just get hit by all the stuff that's up there? Maybe they're doing it on purpose to shield Earth from outside interference. Yeah. Too many up there. We need to get smart. We won't be able to launch people out. Like I say, space is big, isn't it? You know, even though there's when you see depictions of it, it looks like there's this cloud of satellites around the Earth, but they're that far apart from each other, aren't they? That the chances of them hitting each other are slim. But it does happen from time to time, doesn't it? It's usually the Chinese, to be completely honest, because the Chinese don't give them monkeys, do they? Just do whatever they want. But anyway. Right, where were we? Right. The mystery objects were initially documented by Swedish astronomer Beatriz Villarreal. I thought it was Villarreal, whatever. And now former NASA developer Ivo Busko, we've got some great names today, has replicated her findings, proving conclusively that something peculiar was circling our planet years before Sputnik 1 took flight. It were the Vulcans, wasn't it, Wingrace? We've all watched Carbon Creek on Enterprise. It was the Vulcans. Busko notes in a recent study, given that these observations were obtained at a time that predates our first artificial satellite, they become especially noteworthy. They're probably, to be honest, they're probably Nazi satellite. Von Braun probably put them up there during World War II with his V2s. Bet he did. They become especially noteworthy in the context of SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. And there's pictures. Transient study by the Vasco Project. That said, they'll have had a slide, no, what they got, a plate, and then they do that, where the blink thing, don't they? They show one plate and then another plate of the same area of sky, and then you can see if something appears, in one plate and not in another. Because all the stars stay in the same place, but if something's closer, it moves across the frame. That's essentially how planets and asteroids are discovered, isn't it? Yes, big swastika satellites. Yes, that's probably what's up there floating about. Say if one crashes into one, it makes even more objects. Yes, and it could make all go down. Sometimes the International Space Station has to adjust its orbit, doesn't it? If they're coming across some debris that's up there. Space is big, but around Earth, we're running out of space. I think they are launching too many of these satellites, to be honest. But anyway, where were we? There were transient study by the Vasco Project. I've just said, aren't there? Oh, there's 3 images. What are the 3? I bet the other 2 will be one of her, and there'll be another one down here somewhere. Oh, it's them. Look. Right, where were we? Various theories have been proposed to account for the puzzling sightings, from meteors heading directly toward the observer's telescope, which is unlikely, to debris from nuclear weapons tests that have been propelled high enough to achieve orbit. But unsurprisingly, given they appeared during one of the most active eras of UFO reports, there's a substantial group convinced these mysterious objects were spacecraft from an extraterrestrial civilization monitoring Earth as mankind stepped into the atomic era. Dr. Villarroel herself maintains that most of the conventional theories proposed don't withstand close examination. For instance, she argues the notion that these fleeting, brilliant specks of light could be supernovas or similar transient cosmic events doesn't add up. Well, no, supernovas don't just appear and then disappear. That's for ages, don't they? Stars don't work on those time scales, she told the Event Horizon podcast. I know we've got some more pictures up. With circles and stuff. Pardon me. And one there as well. They are trying to make ways to recapture them or push into the Sun or Venus. There was a thing that they did try, didn't they? Speaking of UFOs, a famous UFO in space video. They use the I forgot what they call it now. What do they call it? I forgot what they called it. They put a satellite up and it had a big long extension on it. But it was essentially they're going to use it to basically create drag in the upper atmosphere and bring down dangerous satellites and stuff. I forgot what they call it now. But it broke. It broke. The shuttle launched it, and they had this basically a big elastic band, a big cable, and I forgot what they called it now. I'm blanking on it. And it snapped, and so loads of bits of debris. It created more debris than it cleared up, and a lot of UFO videos they always bring this out because what it created were lots of tiny little specks of debris from this tether. That was it, the tether thing. It just came to me that snapped, and a lot of people say the UFOs crowded round this thing that looked like a big lightsaber in the sky. But it wasn't. It was just tiny little things that were close to the camera and out of focus. And said, "Oh no, it went behind. You saw it go behind." No, but it was overexposed, so it just looked like it went behind. But anyway, whatever. It was like an artifact. It was artifacting. But anyway, yeah, that was one way that they were going to try and get rid of dangerous satellites and stuff that cause problems. And it just made it worse, so they didn't bother with another. But anyway. So just shoot them out of the sky with rail guns or super duper lasers and stuff. But anyway, make them burn up in the atmosphere. Where were we? She continued, solar flares can happen within a few minutes. So if you see something just appearing and disappearing, you can have just a flaring object. You can also have afterglows from gamma ray bursts. I hope we don't get one of them. Or fast radio bursts that can be seen in the optical range, Dr. Villarroel pointed out. But the thing about the 9 simultaneous transients is that you have 9 of these things in a very small field of view that doesn't go with any natural explanation. In his follow-up research, Busco adds, while such transients are difficult to reconcile within a conventional astronomical framework, they are consistent with sub-second optical glints produced by sunlight reflecting from flat surfaces or on rotating objects transiting above Earth's atmosphere. Given the potential implications for SETI-related research, establishing a robust observational basis for the reality and behaviour of these events is of clear importance. Synchronicity again today. As I was watching that Fast Walkers documentary, and one of the astronauts, I think it was Alan Bean actually, were on Skylab. I think it was Alan Bean Apollo 12, I think it was, wasn't it? But later, in 1975 or something like that, they did Skylab, didn't they? And the astronauts on Skylab saw this object, a red object, and they took photos of it and everything, and he described it as, it was this red object that was rotating. He could see it rotating. So it just reminded me of that. Mr. Beam was an astronaut. NASA going to the moon this week. Fingers crossed. April 1st, isn't it? The earliest in the window. I bet they do. I bet they postpone it again. But I hope we do. We'll see. So when's that? When's April 1st? What are we on now? 29th. So Wednesday, isn't it? I think. Yes, Wednesday. Hopefully. We'll see. Where were we? Given the potential implications, I've said it, I'll say it again. Given the potential implications for SETI-related research, establishing a robust observational basis for the reality and behaviour of these events is of clear importance. Mainstream scientists are very reluctant to allow themselves to become associated with potential UFO research because the mockery that still today comes from the claims of little green men can undermine their other work. But curiously, Little Green Men, or LGM, is an astronomical term, isn't it? Essentially for pulsars. The pulsars they used to be termed LGMs, didn't they? I think the first one, is it in the Crab Nebula, is LGM-1. And LGM stands for Little Green Men because they thought they were artificial transmissions because they pulsed at regular frequencies, the pulsars, don't they? Anyway, but whether the short bursts of light observed in those distant pre-satellite days are extraterrestrial craft or some other phenomenon currently unknown to science, both Villarroel and Busco have urged their fellow scientists to stop, look deeper into this decades-old mystery. How's that it? So there we go. That's interesting. Like I said, photos from before we'd put anything up there, we're still seeing things up there. Who knows what they were? Justice says, it's wild. We basically lost all our moon tech. Hope they have a safe journey, but got bad vibes on this. I think they'll be fine, to be honest. It is weird. I mean, they haven't lost. They said they lost the blueprints or something, or they've never kept the blueprints. And I thought, I don't. course, they've got to be somewhere. But not only that, they've got blooming Saturn V, a big Saturn V rocket on its side, haven't they, at one of the space centres? Is it at Kennedy or is it at another one? I can't remember. But one of the unused Saturn Vs, it's there, isn't it? Just look at that. But yeah, NASA does weird things, doesn't it? It's like any big corporation, I suppose. They do things that beggars belief. Like not filming, like losing the footage for Apollo 11. Why would they do that? Or they overwrote it, something like that. They taped over it, something like that. You think, why would you do that? And only thanks to like other stations that were receiving the signals, that the actual proper footage, that it was saved, but they overwrote. 'Cause they thought I don't know. It thought it wouldn't be. It's like the BBC over taping over the old episodes of Doctor Who, because they thought nobody'd want to watch it in the future. It's baffling. It's baffling. I believe we went to the moon. There's some shady stuff behind it. Yes, there is. I think we went as well. We definitely went to the moon, but I think some of the stuff has been faked or touched up at least. But because I think more stuff went on the moon than we told about. But anyway, so that's that. So that's interesting. So weird stuff in old astronomical photos, and cool. I've seen her name, by the way. She's been. I think Ross Coulthard's interviewed her. I think, and maybe she's been in Area 52 as well. I'm not sure. But I've not got round to watching them yet, so I will have to do that. Right, we'll move on. What's next? What's the next article? We're getting there now. Right, here we go. What's this one from? The Montgomery Advertiser. I suppose I better share it, haven't I? There we go. There it is. This is another one about UFO sightings. Are UFOs real? Have they been spotted in Alabama? Says Jennifer Lindahl. Of the Montgomery Advertiser, and there's Donald Trump talking about UFOs again. Is this big enough? I'll make it bigger. There we go. Where are we? Justin says, NASA is shady. I personally believe NASA stands for Never a Straight Answer. I personally believe we meet aliens up there, and they warned us off. Some people have suggested that the reason we never went back is because we were warned off. It must be like the end of 2010, that film. Where it said, all these worlds are yours except Europa. Do not land there. I think they've said that about the moon. But we're going back anyway, so maybe there'll be a big battle on the moon. Maybe. Anywho, right, off we go. Across the United States, residents have been noticing unusual phenomena in the night sky, from streaking meteors to unexplained glowing orbs. Surging reports of strange lights are fueling speculation in big and small cities alike. The curiosity about what might really exist out there spreads quickly, amplified by social media buzz. Alabama has not been immune to these sightings, building on the national trend. The National UFO Reporting Center, NUFORC, notes that the state has logged 1,517 UFO reports over the years, ranging from fast-moving objects to massive glowing orbs that have captivated eyewitnesses. The most recent report came on March 24th, 2026 in Dothan, where witnesses described a huge yellowish-white orb drifting slowly from north to southeast. Residents reported seeing it scan or emit a subtle downward light as it moved slowly and deliberately, the report said. Cool! I'd love to see something like that. Really would. Justin says, our solar warden is real. It probably is. I bet we've ships out there. I bet we have. I bet there'll be people that work out there, patrolling the solar system, that we'd never know their names. We'll never know. It's all super top secret. But they're saving us right now. from the alien menace. Anyway, where were we? The sighting attracted attention on local social media, and residents shared videos and photos. Not bloody showing us them, are you? Never mind. Which Alabama cities reported the most UFO sightings? UFO activity in Alabama goes far beyond Dothan. Using Newfork data, Stackers analysed sightings since 1995 and identified the 10 cities with the most reports. So we've got Huntsville, 91, Birmingham with 85, Mobile, with 71, Madison with 39. That scared me, and it just popped up there. Let's go back again. Dothan 37, Montgomery 33, Gulf Shores 29, Tuscaloosa with 26, Florence 24, and Hoover 23. And then an alien comes on to scare me, because it's like blooming Belloc of Star Trek that always scared me. When it appeared in the end credits of the original series, I always had to look away. I had to close my eyes with that. None of this. And the Daleks, I never had to hide behind the couch from Daleks, but when the Belloc puppet appeared in the end credits of Star Trek, the original Star Trek, I had to look away. Oh dear. Anyway, Justin says Serpo may be real also. Yes, I did. I mentioned that earlier on, didn't I? I like the Serpo, Project Serpo story. As I said, some suggest that maybe either it influenced Close Encounters or Close Encounters influenced it, if you don't believe it. But anyway. Birmingham. Wingris says, who's scarier, Ballock or Clint Howard? Well, yeah. I'd probably be. I would look away either way, whichever just appeared on screen suddenly. Anyway, bless him. Bless Clint Howard. Probably his best film. Clint Howard's been in his what do you call it now? Evil Speak. Have you seen that one? As good as that film, Evil Speak, and he stars in that. There's a good part in it. Anyway, right, Fife. Why is Fife called Alabama's UFO capital? Fife gained fame in UFO circles after multiple residents reported mass sightings on February 11th to 12th, 1989, making the town famous in UFO circles. More than 50 residents described a curved object illuminated with bright lights at the top, bottom and centre. Despite numerous witness accounts, the officials have never offered a formal explanation for this UFO. Today, Fife celebrates the event with an annual UFO festival. I knew it rung a bell. Yes, I've probably seen news stories about it at some point. Cementing its reputation as Alabama's UFO capital. Oh, no, there we're done. There we're done. So, good old Alabama keeping the UFO lights alive, particularly in Fife. Justin says, greys do creep me out. When they look like that, they do. Right, what's next? I think we've got a video to watch next, I think. Is it this one? Hang on, let me check. That doesn't look like the right one. Bear with me. I'll refresh this page. Are you refreshing? Press play. Let me see what happens. It's not playing. Oh, hang on. Is it coming on now? Are you coming on? Hello? Yes, it is. It is the right one. Right, okay, fair enough. I'll pause it again. I think it is, anyway. Right, quick video to watch. It's only, a 3-minute video. I just thought I'd just play this video because there's no news story. But it's about Nevada's special place in UFO law. Sorry, I better share this tab, haven't I? Christian Stepia, CTO for the National UFO Reporting Center, joins ABC News live to discuss Nevada's place. So it's another one about, these sightings and stuff. So here we go. We'll watch this, eh? Get the volume up. Where is it? There we go. Off we go. Hang on. Justin says, Tranya look tasty like Tang or Sunny D. It does look like Sunny D, doesn't it? Can you still get that? Don't know. Right, off we go. So we're just watching this for 3 minutes.
Every state as we count down to the country's 250th birthday in July. Next on the list is Nevada. The Silver State is known around the world for destinations like, maybe you heard of it, Las Vegas, and the Hoover Dam. It also has a special place in UFO lore. from stories about Area 51 to UFO sightings. Christian Stepien now joins me from the National UFO Reporting Center Board. He's a member and joins me now. All right, so Christian, what do you think it is about Nevada in particular that's given it such a prominent place when it comes to the lore of UFOs?
Well, certainly Nevada, is a lot of the central lore about UFOs in Nevada comes from the Area 51 stories and Bob Lazar's big interviews back in 1989 when he came out and basically told the world through George Knapp in Las Vegas that the U.S. government was hiding captured flying saucers there. And that's really when the big news broke around the country. Everybody got really interested in Area 51. But aside from that, Nevada and those, particularly those remote stretches of Nevada up by Rachel, Nevada, and the little alien that you're showing on the screen here have had plenty of UFO sightings that are not related to Area 51. People have seen all kinds of things from bizarre orange orbs flying through the remote desert countryside and pacing their cars. We've had reports of glowing orange discs, cigar-shaped objects, huge black triangular craft that make no noise at all, that silently glide, lights that move from one horizon to the other in a matter of seconds. And these reports come from all kinds of people, including, trained pilots, military personnel, and just people who happen to be driving through looking for things.
Yeah, we've seen some of this evidence, if you will, on Capitol Hill now, too. Well, tell us about some of your organization's reports. Anything you've documented in Nevada?
Yeah, we've documented actually 1,800 reports from Nevada, so it's been pretty prolific. As a matter of fact, Nevada per capita has the most reports of any state in the country. So that means for the population is fairly small there, but per unit of population, we get the most reports. And we think that's because of the wide open skies, the clear views of out to the horizons that exist there. It's really easy for people to see things and report things. One of the first reports we got was from 1952 when people who were some of the officers at Nellis Air Force Base in the air traffic control tower actually reported a disc hovering over the runway for about 20 minutes. They sent in a jet to try and approach it, and the disc instantly vanished. People out driving the extraterrestrial highway out on Route 375 have seen orange balls of plasma light come up to their cars and follow them. One witness reported a strange craft that looked like a couple of tubes with 3 tubes crossing them. Very unusual structure. We've seen huge triangles, all kinds of things. So it is it's a very prolific place for UFO sightings, that's for sure.
Well, as they say, the truth is out there. Christian Stepien, thank you so much. You know the drill, now to 50 states and 50...
Shush. So there we go. That was interesting about Nevada. Right, so we'll move on. There's not much to add about that, is there? I just thought it'd be interesting to watch. I think we have a few videos to watch now, I think, actually. Moving on. Is this a video as well? Or is it an article? No, it's a video, because there's just pictures. Yep. So another video to watch. I think this is an even shorter one. I think this is only a minute or so. If it starts, yes, 1 minute and 28 seconds. So another video to watch. This one is, hang on, share the bugger. Hang on, Justin says, I'm going to party on the 250th anniversary because we won't have a 260th. Of course you will. Everything will be fine. You're as bad as my son. My son's all doom and gloom. Yes. But anyway, Elizabeth Licata, or Lissata, writes, what's this one called? Are you ready for the disclosure? Not just are you ready for the disclosure? Local UFO researchers believe it might be coming soon. So here we go with this one. Better put some audio on. Right. Let's press play and see what they're saying.
Have there been aliens that have visited our planet? How about our country? While the existence of extraterrestrials is still up for discussion, one thing is clear. The USA has been visited by an increasing number of unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs, in recent years. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence recently released a report detailing the number of UAPs, formerly UFOs, that have been processed recently, outlining how between 2014 and 2021, they cited 144 such aerial encounters. But since then, that number has exploded, with the agency adding that since 2021, 366 new UAPs have been encountered, bringing the total number to 510 since they started tracking and reporting these unidentified phenomena. So what are they? According to the report, 26 were drones or drone-like devices, while 163 were shrugged as weather balloons, or something like weather balloons. But while 6 ended up being trash, birds, or other debris swept skyward, 171 of them are still unidentified, often featuring unusual flight characteristics or performance capabilities. And the military sees these anomalies as very real security risks, with the Pentagon's press secretary saying in a statement, quote, "We take reports of incursions into our designated space, land, sea, or airspaces seriously and examine each one."
Well, that AI, it sounded very AI did that voice, didn't it? That wasn't Elizabeth. If it were Elizabeth Licata, she has a very deep voice, didn't she? But anyway, what did that have to do with Buffalo? I don't know. But she hasn't written anything. It's just rest of the article is just pictures, image of the gimbal, and then say Ryan Graves there. Was that David Grush? And that's right. Whatever. Ryan Graves, David Grush. That's that. I think that's David Fravor. Is that Ryan Graves? That's David Grush, or whatever. Oh, it says from left. That's David Grush, Ryan Graves, David Fravor. And there's just another picture. John Lombardo, state director of MUFON. It's only a matter of time before full disclosure is offered by the government. Don't hold your breath, mate. And then him holding an award. And Denise Mantione of MUFON. What's it? No article. Just a weird video with lots of AI in it, it seems. But whatever. Moving on. What's next up? Oh, another news item. But it does have an article with it. So we'll read it first, and then we'll look at the image. There it is. This one's from WLOX. South Mississippi Heartland. South Mississippi UFO identified as high-altitude balloon from New Mexico. New Mexicans invading Mississippi. There we go. So, written by WLOX staff. An unidentified flying object that passed over the Mississippi Gulf Coast Friday has been identified. WLOX, I won't do the voice, received several calls and reports of a strange object flying over Harrison County. WLOX reached out to Harrison County EMA, whatever that stands for, Keesler Air Force Base and the Gulfport Biloxi International Airport and tracked the object on FlightAware. Just as you do a good American accent. It's got to watch The Howling and the news reporter on there who's, "Tonight, in an act of courage we here at KDHB are all very proud of." Sorry, anyway, but where were we? FlightAware showed the object was a high-altitude balloon registered in New Mexico that took off from Roswell. An airport spokesperson confirmed the information. Based on FlightAware and the FAA registry, the aircraft is registered to Sky Inc., a company in Moriarty, New Mexico, that specialises in high-altitude aircraft for telecommunications and climate monitoring. Right, so we've got a video, so let's watch the video, can we? Is it going to play?
Well, happening right now, we've received several calls and reports of a strange object flying over Harrison County.
Yeah, look at that. If you look closely there at your screen, you can see it. This is right above our TV station or within sight of our TV station. And again, a lot of people have been talking about this. Our phone started ringing off the hook just about 30 minutes ago. We've gotten some emails. And this object appears to be traveling east and has moved into Jackson County. You're looking live at this silver orb in the sky. Now, we have reached out to Harrison County EMA, Keesler Air Force Base, and the Gulfport Biloxi Regional Airport trying to get answers about what this is. We also tracked the object on Flight Aware, and that shows that the object is a high-altitude balloon that is registered out of New Mexico.
An airport spokesperson confirmed that information to us as well. And if we get any additional information, we will share that with you.
So basically,
Take a look at the week.
Shut up. So basically, it's a blimp. It's a blimp. Justice says Americans do good British accents, but Brits hate it. It all depends. It all depends. What's it? Keanu Reeves doesn't do a good English accent, but some do. Some do. But, you all kind of do Cockney accents. Cole Blimey Governor and Dick Van Dyke and all that. But secretly love it. Yeah, it's cool. I don't mind it personally. Right, so that what shush. That what I just picked that because it shows that not everything's a UFO. They showed that one was a high altitude balloon, or they're lying, but no, it was a high altitude balloon. This next one, UAP at Skinning. Oh, I'll share the bugger. Hang on. Go full screen with it. No, not. Where are we? That one, right. This one, there it is. UAP at Skinning Grove Beach, England, March 16th, 2026. Alien base found, UFO sightings daily. It says it's not a long one, is this? Another minute. So we'll just play this. We'll go full screen with it. It's a weird one, is this? It's just this bright object. Wingray says, pip pip cheerio. Hey, what? Yes, nailed it. So, but either Cockneys or super posh, like the Queen and stuff like that. How do you do all that stuff? Nobody ever does Yorkshire accents, unless they're doing Sean Bean, the most famous Yorkshireman to ever live, Sean Bean. But anyway. Right, off we go. Full screen this one and play it. Look, you can see it's casting a reflection down. It disappears, it casts a reflection down on the sea.
Zoom into a video. Just gonna get fun.
I don't know where Skinning Grove Beach is, by the way. Village in England. Oh, no. Oh, it's in Cleveland, so it's kind of up my way, to be honest. In northern England. Oh, that's finished now. There we go. Leave it like that. Skinning Grove Beach. It's up in. Hang on, where does it say? Is there a map? Oh, there we go. Zoom out. Where is it? Come on, where are you? Yes, it's up in Cleveland, which is like North Yorkshire. Or is it? I don't know what it's classed as now. It used to be its own county, Cleveland, but then I think it became North Yorkshire again. I think they split up Cleveland between North Yorkshire and Northumberland. But yes, so it's up there on the north and the Yorkshire coast. I'm going to call it Yorkshire. Don't care. So that's why it's looks so miserable. Anyway, Justin says I like the swear words, and he says it does a good spike from Buffy. You're a bloody puppet. But yes, the British do have the Australians have the best swear words, don't they? The British have some good ones. You're talking bollocks out of your ass, mate. That's what you're doing. Anyway. Wingray, speaking of British stuff, I just found a commemorative Jeremy Brett envelope and stamp display at the thrift store. Cool. Jeremy Brett, obviously most famous for playing Sherlock Holmes. No, I think of Jeremy Brett's Sherlock Holmes, I think I've only seen his Hound of the Baskervilles, I think. To be honest, I was never into Jeremy Brett's Sherlock Holmes. And a lot of people view him as, the definitive Sherlock Holmes. I don't. Basil Rathbone is the definitive Sherlock Holmes. Anyway, so there we go. So that's interesting one, this. That's it. I don't know what it is. It's something that's super bright, isn't it? And reflecting down on the sea. The North Sea. Let's say you can see it. You can see the horizon over there. So it's not, obviously it's not the moon, because if it were the moon, it'd be all the way, wouldn't it? The horizon. It's obviously something over the sea there, maybe. What is it, the horizon? I think from the beach, is the horizon something like 12 miles or something from ground level? If they're up on the cliff, it might be a bit further. So it's a few miles out to sea, isn't it? They pull out a bit, don't they? We see a bit more. Oh, there we go. There we go. We see a bit more there. It's a weird one, is that? What's this? Is that just a street light, or is that something else? I don't know. Or is it really? Is it? I don't know. I've never noticed that before. Let me mute it. All the lights here. I'm guessing they're just street lights. It's a funny one, is that? I just found that a little bit interesting. Anyway, what's next? Hang on. We have another one. Unidentified flying objects in Germany. I think this one that we're going to look at now. Where is it? There we go. I think this one's a drone. And I think in the comments they do mention a drone. I think it's like an Amazon drone or something like that. But anyway, Justin says, I speak a little German because of my grandparents and school. I can't speak much German. The only German I learned, really, because I went to Germany and I learned how to say 3 large beers, please, which were dry gross beer bitte. But anyway, it's all you need to know. Everybody speaks English, so it doesn't matter. We went to France, asked for a sandwich saucisson. It's a sausage sandwich, which is not an English sausage sandwich, it's basically a salami sandwich. But anyway, that's by the by. Hey, where were we? Oh, right. Speaking of German, synchronicities coming in again there, Justin. Unidentified flying objects in Germany. Right, we'll play this one. I don't know if there's any audio. We'll see what happens. But like I say, I think this one, I think it's a drone carried, like a Amazon delivery drone. I think that's what it is. I'll just play it. I don't know if it's going to be super loud. I don't know. It's an Amazon drone carrying something. German on the grid. Mein Gott! What is that up in the sky? I think that is something of this earth. Oh, there we go. Jerry Ryan analyses her skin-tight Star Trek bodysuit. Why is that coming on? I've never watched Conan O'Brien. I've watched Nerdrotic. Have I missed one? Oh, never mind, I'll watch that later. Another one about UFOs there. Don't know why that's popped up. Because I'm a pervert, probably. Knows I look at stuff. Anyway, so there we go. I think that was not playing. Pause. There we go. Yeah, I think that's an Amazon drone. carrying something to a delivery. I hope they got it. Unlike the bloody Critters box set that got lost in the post that I haven't got, and I've had to have them send out another one, which I still haven't got. Anyway, what's next? We're ending. We're nearly done now. We're ending with a couple more videos. I'm not just going to play these because they're a bit too long, so we'll skim through these and see what happens. So I'll leave these muted, but I'll go full screen. This one is, I said, links in the description. Massive spacecraft spotted near military base. Bombshell footage. It'd help if I shared it, wouldn't it? There we go. Bombshell footage, which means it's probably crap. But I'll start playing it, and then if we need to skip on, we will. Wingress says, was your shipment on that shipment we hit with the missile strike? Probably. Knowing me. I mean, I don't think so. I don't think we're going that far. That old Yorkshire pervert. Don't you start. Anyway. But I am.
Starting off in Ohio, March 27th, 2026, where witnesses saw these strange orbs of light in the sky. But it got stranger still as they began to...
Sorry, his voice is kind of... sounds like the... honey badger don't give a shit. Fella, doesn't he? Anyway.
To seemingly take formation. At one point, even getting into like a delta shape as the lights formed almost a triangle or boomerang shape. And then as you guys will see, it starts like shifting around. This thing makes no sense.
Could be drones. Don't know. You're not joking, Justin.
Meanwhile, in Florida, March 27th, 2026, we see this strange object in the sky with what looks like a plume or illuminated cloud behind it.
Well, it's Florida.
This
it's a rocket launch.
absolutely
It's
fascinated people. As you can see, this person's recording while in the car. They're literally stunned.
Rocket launch. Yeah, I think that's definitely what that is.
Mira, se está moviendo.
I'll pause it. We'll skip it on. Oh, there we'll move on to the next one. So that's definitely a plume from a Falcon 9 launch. What's next? Mississippi. M-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. No, M-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. Whatever, I don't know.
Strange light in the sky. This one also seems to have a tail of sorts, kind of like the plume we saw in the previous video, but more contained.
Nothing like the
Yet it wasn't
video.
moving in any direction. It looked like it should be streaking across the sky.
Oh, this is
but it was just sitting there.
No, this is the one we've just talked about, isn't it? It's that one, Mississippi, wasn't it? So this is that. Basically, it's basically a blimp, innit? That's what that is. We just done a news article about that. That's just a different view of it, because that was Mississippi. Next up, Brazil.
With this weird clip from Brazil, March 20...
Hang on, sorry, Justin. That is wild. Maybe a helicopter formation. They do that around me a lot, and looks like that. So there you go. There you go. Could be. Or it could be aliens. I don't know.
7th, 2026. Witnesses saw this strange light in the sky and pulled out their camera. When they zoomed in, they realized that it was like a diamond-shaped craft or a very, very strangely shaped craft. And you actually get, considering how far away they are, you get a decent amount of detail when they do zoom in on this, whatever it is that's in the sky. Look, there it goes. You can kind of start making it out as they zoom in. Now they're saying it appeared like a twinkling light, right, to their naked eye. And with the camera, they couldn't see it at all until they zoomed this far in, but it was bright enough that they could see it with their eye. Look at this thing.
zoom in that far. It could be, artifact in the lens, or if it's I imagine it's digital one, it's on the CCD. The triangular thing could be the lens only. Creates weird shapes. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I want it to be real. Say these things. Pause that. No, it does look to be something physical to me. It doesn't look like it's, let's say, sometimes with a small object, like a bright point of light that is maybe out of focus. The focusing mechanism can make it appear like a diamond shape or a triangle shape, depending. But that don't look like that to me. That looks like something that's reflecting light from the top, doesn't it? As it would. So yeah, it's weird. It could be a balloon. It could be a big, weather balloon high up in the atmosphere. I don't know. It could be. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that's a weather balloon. Or it's swamp gas. Who knows? Have we got another one from Brazil? Looks like it, doesn't it? Looks like it.
Of 2026, so just the day before. And this object that was captured in the sky while they were on the road looks very strikingly similar in shape to the objects that we just saw in the previous video. Look at that weird diamond-esque shape of this craft. It looks just like that one. Only the other one was further in the distance, so we couldn't make it out this clearly.
That's the spaceship from Flight of the Navigator. I've got to be honest, that looks like descriptions of that some people have given for the got a bit of a view. There we go. Of whatever crashed at Roswell. So who knows? Or it could be a balloon. That's it. Don't know.
Yeah, I'm blown away. Let me know if you guys agree. There's also this excellent clip with amazing commentary from Italy 2003 of a massive spacecraft near a military base. Take it away.
Broad daylight in 2003, an anonymous amateur videographer captured a disc-shaped craft hovering 8 meters above ground between the Aviano military base and Valcellina in northern Italy. Against a cloudy sky, the object's reflective surface and subtle ambient lighting appear natural, with no visible flares or digital artifacts. Shot near the historic Ponte del Giulio, a 60-meter Bailey-type iron bridge built in 1875 that links Montereale Valcellina to Maniago, the raw footage was later delivered to ufologist Antonio Chiamiento in an envelope bearing the message, "I am afraid."
I don't believe that one. I think that's CG. I think that one's CG. What's this one? Is this showing it? What's happening? What's this here? What's going on here?
Confirmed its authenticity, finding no evidence of digital tampering. Local television and programs such as Studio Aperto, an Austrian holidaymaker, also reported seeing the same object between 9 and 10 a.m. as they departed a nearby campsite en route to Maniago.
Just making the image negative don't mean that it's not genuine, does it? But anyway, right, back to the other stuff. Oh, look, redacted, that word I couldn't remember earlier on. Just appeared on.
I'm a little iffy on it because they didn't give me a date and time, but the commentary seems genuine. Let me know your thoughts.
And then the other one coming back forward. Look at it. Yeah.
Down at Maya.
Shh.
I know.
Like I'm telling you, dog.
I know. What in the world?
Whether you're iffy on that last one like I am or not, what really matters is that something is happening in our skies. Even if that last one's not necessarily what's happening, there are other sightings that make no sense that everyone is seeing. So guys, what is going on and why aren't they telling us? If you made it this far, smash.
There we go. What channel's that? He's got a cool voice. Chaos Moogle. Chaos Moogle. Sounds like the honey badger don't give a shit. He don't care. So there's some interesting stuff there. Some of them I don't think were real. I said some of them I think were other things. And some of them are interesting. But I have no idea what's going on that last one. That was weird, wasn't it? What the hell is that? Is it a weird balloon? It could be just a weird balloon, couldn't it? But I don't know. Because balloons do come in all weird shapes. Because they have these balloon festivals. You get all like these weird shaped balloons, don't you? So who knows? Anyway, right, what's next? Last one. I'll just play this one because it's only a short one. So we'll just full screen. This one's 2 UFOs. Hang on. Yeah, the bugger. There we go. 2 UFOs landed in the Brazil jungle. Google Earth map UFO UAP sighting news from UFO Sightings Daily. Right, so I'll full screen this and we'll get on with it.
Hey guys, this is Scott of UFO Sightings Daily. Now I got something for you. I'm standing in Taipei, Taiwan. However, this time there's something in South America on Google Earth I want you to see. There's not just one, but there's 2 psychedelic colored UFOs parked on the forest floor in South America. Now I measured each one of these and they're coming out to be 10 to 15 meters across. That's about 30 feet across each one. And one of them's a triangle craft, which is kind of remarkable. You never see these things, but recently there was a mayor who expressed concern about some UFO lights flying around the mountains in South America. Now, if mayors are concerned about these, maybe we should be too. I mean, there are a lot of extraordinary things out there in South America, a lot of famous UFO sightings that people just haven't heard about. It is a hotspot. South America is a UFO hotspot, and we need to take this a little bit more seriously because look at the shape of these things. Look at the size of those things. You can see for yourself that at least one of these discs is unlike anything you've ever seen in your life. So you tell me what's going on here because I'm not 100% sure what's happening. These things on Google Earth were not there a year before. If you look at the history on Google Earth, you can see that they disappeared. They weren't there. There was no clearing. They didn't burn or cut down the trees. These things just landed there. Whatever they are, wherever they came from, there is something happening in South America. And the United States government doesn't want you to know. So tell me your thoughts about this in the comments below. I want to hear from each and every one of you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. He looks a bit like an alien hybrid, says Wingray. Does a bit, doesn't it? Anyway, right, so we'll go back to this close-up of one of these, if I can find a good close-up. There we go. That looks to be... That shadow, is that the shadow of this? It looks to be above the trees to me. So maybe they're not in the trees, landed in the trees. Maybe they're either hovering above or just flying above. Who knows? At first, when I first saw them, I thought, are they just something like a big tent or something that's been put up in the, some big tourist attraction, like centre parks in the UK. They like build these big domes and they're like, swimming pools and stuff in and all that. Is it one of those? But in Brazil, there's a lot of stuff like that in Brazil as well. It's not a bloody third world. Well, it is a third world country, but they do have cool stuff, don't they? Anyway, whatever. But here, this shadow here, it looks there as well. It looks like it's casting a shadow down onto the treetops to me. So is it something flying over the trees that were captured by either it's a satellite image or a high altitude plane or whatever? I don't know who took the image. But anyway, hello fellow humans, look over here. Yes. So anyway, so that's an interesting one. I've no idea what's going on there. But it's a weird one. Again, it could be balloons again. Who knows? But anyway, that was the last one. We finally done after 3 bloody hours. After 3 blinking hours. So there we go. All done and dusted. If you want to look at all them videos, links are in the description down below. Right. So we're all done and dusted finally. My son will be saying that. Why have you been so long? Because I had a lot to get through. Right. So, what's coming up next? Oh, did you hear that? That was my stomach making a noise. What's coming up next? What day are we on? Sunday. Tomorrow, where have I put it? Tomorrow, for Magnificent Mondays tomorrow, it's the 42nd anniversary of Romance in the Stone with Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner and Danny DeVito. And I've never seen it before. And I was supposed to watch it today and never got round to it. So I'm definitely going to have to watch it tomorrow. So that'll be a fun review. No special features, by the way, so I'll be winging it. I know nothing about this film, apart from directed by Robert Zemeckis' breakout film, wasn't it? So that's tomorrow. Wednesday, I'm going to try, if I can finish off Season 4 of Star Trek Voyager. On Wednesday, I'm going to see if I can do, my Star Trek series, talking about each episode. So I'll try and do that on Wednesday. If I can finish off Season 4, like I said, I'm struggling. And then on Friday night appointment with Thea, Sinners. We're doing Sinners because it's just picked up loads of Oscars, hasn't it? Well, it won 4 Oscars out of 16 nominations. So another film I've never seen. So that's on Friday. And then next Monday, after that, Planet of the Apes, the original. I haven't got my disc out yet. It's up there. I've got a box set somewhere over there. Right, so we'll leave it there. We're all done and dusted. So thanks Win Grace, and thanks Justin. Thanks for the $2 super chat. It super duper helps. It really does. There it is. Thank you for that. Nobody else popped in, did they? I don't think they did they? Justin says, I think, was the first of 3 movies the 2 actors did together? I don't know. I know they did Jewel of the Nile. I don't know if they've done any others. Maybe they did, I don't know. But she was gorgeous, wasn't she, Kathleen Turner, back in the day. Anyway, and she obviously the voice of Jessica Rabbit as well. Anyway, let's make sure that everything is still going swimmingly. Yes, we didn't get any copyright things pop up, and nobody on Rumble has said a bugger all. Right, so hang on. What? I've not seen War of the Roses. I've not seen it. Well, that them too. I don't know. It's fair enough. Right, so we'll leave it there. I'm going to have to go and sort some grub out now for myself, if you hear my stomach grumbling. Because I've had Chinese food, you see, and I say you eat that. There were a plate full of it. You can eat that, and then you're hungry again after like 20 minutes, aren't you? Anyway, so we'll leave it there. Hang on, let me get sorted. Where the hell is it? There we go. So thanks for watching wherever you are. Look after each other. Keep watching the skies, and until next time, I'll see you there.